lovely touch from him, though. Harry Kane, Lucas Moura, can you do something, please? Last chance. Matt Doherty! Oh, you shite! There could be from the dead to the don't fuck it up now. Don't fuck it up. Go and win it. Let's go. Last chance. Stephen Bergwijn. Stephen Bergwijn's through. Win it, Stephen. Come on. Yes. He's won it. He has won it. Oh my God. We did it. Welcome. What day is it? It's Tuesday. It is February the 22nd, and it's the 2022 version of it. And I'm going to get through this intro really fucking quickly. So you might want to slow down your YouTube speed to 0.5 speed because I'm going to be talking really, really fast because I've got the first rung of people on the show and they're only here for an hour before we bring the second rung of people in. Did you catch all that? I'm not going to say it again. We got 2 groups of people tonight. Such is the quality of the eclectic mix of people that are going to join the show, but also their busy fucking schedules means that not everyone can be on the entire time, but that's okay. This is the Spurs Talk Show. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, then welcome back. Welcome back. We got some new things going on. We got a new microphone tonight, and this microphone, thanks courtesy of Will Stewart at thfcrants.com, he's given me this, and this means I can play music through the background, and that's going to be happening as I bring people in through the doorbell. There's all sorts of new stuff going on. But anyway, you can find me at Spurs Talk Show on Twitter, and more importantly, Spurs Talk Show on YouTube. And on Twitch, apparently. Do stream there. Don't know if anyone's ever been there. But Spurs Talk Show has gaps between the words naturally, but not in this case. Spurs and talk and show all got to be one word. #0 spaces, because we don't want you to find the San Antonio Spurs. And we definitely don't want you to find... Well, we don't mind you finding other Spurs-related content, but not tonight. So Spurs Talk Show is where you find us at YouTube. But anyway, guys, I've got to bring everybody in. There's 20 people in the house. If you're brand new or if you're not, if you haven't already, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It means the world to me because it means the world to the algorithm. I've already stumbled. Yes! Love it when you make a mistake in the first 30 seconds of an intro. Love it, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, guess who's joining us? Straight out of Canada, even though he's still currently here. It is the man, the myth, the legend, everyone knows him as Levy Out. He is Mr. Brian Daigle. How are you, my friend?
My God. It needs to be Sean, the Spurs Talk Show, sponsored by Red Bull Monster, Relentless Rockstar. Jesus Christ, my man. What a beginning. I'm fantastic, mate. I'm fantastic. I've just come back from seeing Bob Spur. So it's a very, very good day today. Very good day. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm very good. I'm conscious of how little time we have with you and the next 2 guests. So I do want to hear about Bob Spur. I understand he's back on his feet, right? He's back on his feet. But he's getting there. He's been on your show yesterday.
I'll give the quick update today. So yeah, obviously he came on our show yesterday. It was the first show he's actually come on, and obviously with the camera off because he's still laying in his hospital bed. Went to see him today. People will know the last time I went to see him, I was officially freaked out. I was like, holy shit, where is he? He did not look good at all. But we've been obviously him coming on yesterday and everything. They've all been positives. Well, now I can give a super duper absolutely. I'll try and go as hyper as you, although I don't know if I'll make it. A super duper whooper duper
it's okay.
Update on him. Listen, I went and saw him today with Kim, and all I can say, Bob the personality, Bob the smile, Bob the facial expressions, Bob everything mental-wise is 100%, 1,000,000,000% fit, firing, all guns blazing. He's got a lot of work rehab-wise. He's been laying in that bed for a long time, so muscle and whatever he's got to work on. Yeah. But the mental aspect of it and the personality and the cheeky smiles and the humour and every single thing about him is completely fit and firing. He's got a big day Thursday. They're taking the tracheotomy out and taking all the wires out of him, so he'll be independent. And then the physio starts. But thankfully, I can actually say right now, I get on my plane to Canada next Sunday, and I can actually say I'm leaving him on the huge road to recovery, but in a very, very good place. It's seeing him today and just being able to speak to him without blooming the spacesuit on as well and being able to hug him and whatever. It was incredible. And he's back and fit and firing mentally wise. A long way to go physically, but that will come with physio and rehab. So it was incredible.
Mate, great to hear it. Bob Spur, if you're listening, I don't suppose you are, but if you are, man, great to hear you back on your feet, buddy. And someone else who's back, not they're on their feet, they're always on their feet, but someone else who's back on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. You know him as Ireland's #1 Tottenham Hotspur fan. You know him also as the world's #1 Harry Kane fan. It is David Harris. How are you, mate?
And he also know me as Champ. I am absolutely buzzing.
It took 2 seconds. Absolutely. It took 2 seconds.
Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. I'm going to get through the last bit of introduction because this guy is firing. He was the quiz master himself. He had the quiz hat on. He ended up giving Dave the champ name, and he gave Gascoigne's biggest fan the biggest shaming in all of Tottenhamdon. Straight over from Spurs related. He's the guy, the man, the myth, the legend. I just found out today he works only 5 minutes down the road from me. So we're going to do some streaming together, hopefully in the studio. He is Mr. James. I don't know your last name, James. What is your last name?
Spurs related. That's my last name.
How convenient, James. How convenient that was your surname. You support Spurs.
Yeah, exactly that. And listen, guys, absolute pleasure to be here. Sean, and the other thing is I didn't think I could boost Dave's ego in anymore, but we did the other night on Sunday. So apologies Brian, and apologies the other Brian, but at the end of the day it was absolutely hilarious and honestly an absolute barrel of laughs, to be honest with you.
All I have to say is I'm surprised Dave doesn't put that ring light that he's got around his computer or whatever above his head for the halo, but that'll be when he gets the tab.
Yeah. First of all, before he does that, he has to beat me in the quiz before he can start putting the old Halo shit out there. You're not having that, bro. You got to beat everyone first, not just Brian, not the two Brians. You got to beat the whole community, and you haven't done that.
Do you know what? I'm slowly making my way through it. I started off by beating Matty Hayes, now Tottenham on tour. Whoever wants it next, come and get it.
Tottenham on tour have activated their rematch clause.
Yeah, listen, nice. This one's going to be worth more money. I know. I think even Eddie Hearn's involved in this next one. So watch out, guys.
Add Paxton Road to that list as well, because I bet Shane too. So,
all right. Well, listen.
The 2020 big fat quiz of 2021 Spurs related. You're the champion on that one as well. Like I said, I can't boost his ego anymore, so I'm pretty safe as we go.
All right. Well, listen, guys. There's somebody else who's supposed to be in the chat. She hasn't responded, but we'll get when the doorbell rings. We'll let her in. Maybe she's forgotten. In case you're listening, Miss Female Footballer of the Year, you are welcome anytime you fancy joining. We have got 4 or 5 more guests that are going to be dropping in as these guys have got other things to do later on. But before we get going with the questions of the night, let me find out who's in the chat and just say hello to them quickly. We got Cody saying to Sean. Cody Mack was crack-a-lacking Cody. He's saying it once. He's saying it twice. 3 times a Cody. And he said, Sean, what's up, Cody? How are you, my friend? We've also got Derek Hutchinson in the house. Big up, Derek. Always here early, always showing the support. Lovely to see you, my friend. Paulie, what's cracking? He's saying evening all. Mr. Alexander Hilton is saying steak. Still not entirely sure what that's about, but
he explained that to me the other day. Basically, he just always enters a steak. And do you know what? I've actually forgotten the full-on reason. He's gonna have to explain again. But he was on the fan phone in, and I said, "Why'd you keep putting steak in my chat?" And he went, he explained it, and I was thinking, right, that's actually great, but unique, but also very weird. But big yourself up, Alex. Nice to see you.
I think it's to do with the song. I think it's something to do with the song. But anyway, Alex, good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well.
Steak. I mean, who doesn't at the end of the day? I might just start putting cream egg in the chat because I like them as well. So, like, fucking hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, I went and bought a 5-pack the other day. I've done 3 of them. The other 2 are probably going to be for my dinner. Well, not just my dinner. I'm going to eat something substantial.
What the hell is going on? The Cream Egg Army. CEA. Hashtag CEA.
And Cream Egg, you now owe me £100 for endorsing your product live on Spurs Talk Show. Invoice welcome at all times. So there you go.
Technically, you owe me £100 and Cadbury's, and I'll figure out the distributions accordingly. But Zoe DS in the house, big up Zoe. Hope you're well. Thanks for stopping by. Sushant Busal. Sushant Busal.
Legend.
Big legend. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, before I go any further, I just want to tell you on the last stream we did, I accidentally blocked Amir from being able to comment. I was double timing, trying to get rid of one of the spam comments. Ended up blocking Amir, and we couldn't figure out how to do it. And then one of the other guests explained it to me. Couldn't figure out because I can't multitask because I'm not that good at life generally. But I have figured it out, Amir. So if you are listening, you can now contribute into the chat as ever.
Well,
sorry about what happened last time.
That's really ironic, Sean, because actually Amir Khan couldn't block anything on Saturday.
Well
done for helping him.
Well, no, I have to say, Sean,
Nice.
I accidentally did that with Celery Agent, but we've managed to work that out, thank the Lord. It's so annoying when those bloody spammers do it, and you go to block them and someone types in a message. Those spammers get away with too much.
They do. But we're back, Amir. So thanks for stopping by. As to you, Sushant, I appreciate you stopping by, my friend. ES0T, don't know what that's. ESOT, I'm not sure if that's a name or something, but good to see you, my friend. Afternoon, lads, he's saying. Ben Coffey's in the house, even though hopefully everyone is well. We're all well. I feel like I'm talking at like triple speed this afternoon, not because I've taken an Adderall, not because I've taken anything else, just because I've only got 45 minutes with these legends and I need to get through some good questions. And so I just want to get through everything as fast as I can. Chris is saying, Shawnee, big up to you, Chris. Hope you're well, my friend. Alexander, Sean Shady, please stand up. I can't. I'm not wearing any trousers. So we can't do that, my friend. Lewis 2705. Big up, Sean. Big up, Louis. Glad to see you, my friend. Nice to see you, my friend. On your bike, Scott. What's up? Crack-a-lacking to you, my friend. A lot. All one word. Oh, hashtag all one word. Indeed, it is. Bodril Mazid. Nice to see you, my friend. Big up, Legend Brian. He's saying.
Cheers, brother.
Big up Sean the Legend, Enoch Levy out Brian, Zoe saying hello, done everyone else. Sean Mansour, what's crack-a-lacking? Big up to you, my friend. Big up to Spurs
That's
related.
the owner of City, isn't it?
What's that, sorry?
So that's the owner of Manchester City.
No, it's not far away. Yeah. If you got any money, man, we're not taking super chats, but you can find me on PayPal. Very good. Wayne Bonner's in the house. Evening, everyone. Hope you're all pumped for the Burnley game. We are pumped for the Burnley game. Massively pumped for the Burnley game. We're pumped for every game. Come on, Wayne. You should know by now the eclectic panels that we put together, wherever you find them, when it comes to the pre-matches, we're always pumped up. And the Americanka, free a minute. It was the Americanka. It was you that told me how to do it, and I couldn't figure out at the time. Miss, thank you so much for showing me the method. I figured it out afterwards, and he is now free to join the show again. I just hope I haven't lost him.
How do you pronounce her name? Because I see her everywhere. I always try to communicate, and I always get scared if I'm on air. I think
it's Americanka.
Americanka. Okay, wicked. Because I see her everywhere, so big up to her.
She's got a very cool YouTube channel. I figured I was watching her YouTube channel the other day. I wasn't.
Oh, check it out.
You know, yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. Rubage. I'm not sure how we say that. Depends where you're from in the world. Rubage. We're going to go with Indeed Geezers. Rubage was protesting and still is protesting. Where the fuck is everyone? Well, I don't know what that means, but we're all here.
Yep.
Hot dogs out. Don't know what's going on there, man. Don't know what's going on. We got Jason Bell's in the house. I opened up the stream, and the first thing I heard was the laugh. Yeah, it happens quite a lot, bro. It happens quite a lot. I do apologise for anyone that gets irritated by hyenas, because that's apparently who I sound like. We also got last person in is Mr. Turstin or Mrs. Turstin. I don't know how you say that. Kanite.
No, I don't read that as Kanite. I'll just get rid of the I. It's Conte. Big yourself up, Conte. Welcome.
Thirsty Conte is how we're going to call that one from now on. Turstin Kanite.
If you rearrange the words, you could have trust in Conte.
No, you know what that is? I actually it says trust. I think they're just dyslexic.
Honestly, when I seen the name, I thought James was going to turn around and go unscrabble. What's this word saying?
That is trust it.
Dave, you've been doing your daily Wordle, haven't you? You've been all over that.
I've been figuring it out. That is an anagram of I trust in Conte. Tersting Canite. Yeah, I trust in Conte. There you go, Dave. You figured it, man. Well played.
Dave, you're a clever guy.
Well done, everyone. Thanks for joining. 35 people in the house. If you haven't already, hit the like and the subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Also, I'm going to say it early. If you haven't already, go to Tottenham on Tour, go to the Irish Hotspur, and go to Spurs Related. I don't currently have the time to put the links, and I'll do that later on as the show progresses. But for right now, we're going to get straight on with business. And
the Red Bull you drink is ridiculous.
No, I just got to speak fast. You know, when you want a time limit and you still got to go through the usual processes, bro, you got to talk fast. I'm sure everyone's capable of going faster if they absolutely need to. All right. So I want to start a little bit. Before we get into the detail, I want to ask you guys, basically, in Antonio Conte's press conference, he said he was trying to clarify about the best coach, the best group of players that he has ever coached. He said, and I quote, "There is a great will, a great desire to work. That's what I mean when I say the best group. Young players with lots of room to improve, but the best group of individuals. And as far as staff and the coaching and the players, it makes me happy." He looked super happy in the press conference today, guys. I don't know if you've seen it. He's smiling. He was joking with the media, the same media that he was calling out and questioning. Do we think that the Man City game is a turning point? Do we think that the fact that we smashed them to pieces and we were well worthy of the win against the best team, we've taken 6 points from them, the only team that's done that? Do you think that his mood has shifted, is elevated, or is it just more Conte, cryptic Conte? Is it more like he's just, 1 minute he's upset, 1 minute he's saying things he doesn't mean, next minute he's not saying things he does mean? But today everything looked positive. We'll start with Brian and we'll go around the houses. Yeah. What do we make of the press conference?
This afternoon? I haven't seen the press conference because obviously what was the press conference? I haven't seen the press conference because obviously I've been busy. But from what you're saying, listen, if I was a Tottenham Hotspur player right now, and I wish I was, I would be absolutely buzzing off that result. That result would be putting me to Sean Butler levels of fucking enthusiasm and energy the way you go right now. And this would be kind of like when we're all saying, do you know what? If we could just win a cup and get it over the line, it will give them that winning mentality. This kind of game, that kind of performance, and the manner in which they did it has got to give every single person around the club a huge shot of belief, a huge shot of, I want to say adrenaline, but in football terms, they have got to be absolutely buzzing at what they've achieved. Not just the manner of it, but the fact, like you said, that we've actually done the double over them. Not a lot of teams in football will ever, even in the Champions League, will ever say that they did that. It's a monumental, huge thing, and I don't know what could give you more momentum than all of what I've just mentioned. So technically, it really should do. This should be the springboard and the platform and the base that they start building from, in all honesty. We just have to see what they do. I'm personally very confident going into Burnley, and I'm very confident. I hope David Harris watched one when I told him to watch the player ratings I gave on We Are Tottenham TV. How dare you?
I haven't had time, lad. Honestly, I haven't had time.
Yeah. He's too busy. He's been too busy going champ. No, basically, what happened, David, is I joked about when we were giving Vinny the ratings. I put all the ratings down on paper, and then I put Harry Kane 15, only joking 10, and they actually put 15 up there. So I gave a special mention to you.
Big up.
If he can put in. I mean, it was the most breathtaking performance. And Burnley, what you got to remember, Burnley is always a tough place to go to for any team. Forget their form; they're coming to a bit of form. If you remember, history repeating itself. We beat Manchester City with that Peter Crouch goal to get into the Champions League. The next game, last game of the season, we lost away to Burnley. But Burnley, we've had some trouble there, but I'm fully confident. With, like I said, with that kind of adrenaline and the confidence they would have taken from that. It's going to be a win, and obviously I think Conte's being deadly serious now. I think this is it, and this is where we start building.
All right, well, let me ask you guys this, right? So, because I've got you for the next sort of 45 minutes, whatever. Would you rather talk about, because I've got two different segments and I had it lined up, but would you rather talk about the Burnley game, or would you rather reflect on, more specifics about certain players based on what happened with Manchester City? I've got a whole, we could go either way. I don't mind, selecting, slicing and dicing. Would you rather talk about Burnley, or would you rather talk a little bit about the reflection on certain players and what their performances mean for Burnley and for the rest of the season?
It's your show, mate. It's up to you.
Don't care, lad. It's up to you.
All right. Well,
whatever way you want to go and comfortable, lad.
All right. Okay. Well, let me start. You know what? We'll start with the defence then. Okay. So I want to talk about a little bit about Manchester City game. So in terms of we'll start with the defence. There's three different, obviously, categories: the defence, the midfield, and the attack. I want to start by looking at the defence. There was a masterful performance, in my opinion, from all three centre backs. Are we now secure, Dave? I'll come to you first. Are we now secure in our minds that as long as we stay injury free, that these particular three, in Davies, in Dyer and Romero, are the starting three for the rest of the season?
100% they have to be. Look, Romero is world class. He's one of the best defenders in the world. So that automatically he plays. Eric Dyer has started 9 times in the middle of a back three. We've won 6, drawn 3. We have not lost. We've only conceded 6 goals and kept 5 clean sheets in all the games Eric Dyer has started in the middle of the back three. So that we know that's his position. We haven't lost with him in that defence there. Then you look at Ben Davies over the other side. When it was Romero and Midfield and Sanchez out on the right, he was maybe starting to look a bit shaky. Some of the mistakes were creeping in. But he looked really assured against Man City when he played there the other day. And Sean, the biggest thing from it is defensively it's solid, but it also adds to us going forward. I mean, you look at our first goal. The ball went out to Romero, and if that was Sanchez, that would have been pinged out to Emerson or a long ball straight back into the City's half. He didn't do it. What he done is he switched the play over to Davies, which created where he was in space, which created the goal for him, where he could pass it into Harry Kane, in behind the Son, etc. But with Dyer and Romero in there, we can now play out of the back. But before, we couldn't. With Romero in the centre, we couldn't use his ball playing abilities because he was in the centre of the back tree. It's too risky to be able to do it there. But when you have him out on the right side of the tree, that's when you can really start to utilise his ball playing abilities because he has that space. So it really helps us playing out of the back and going forward, transitioning into midfield, then onto the front line. So in all aspects, it helps the team. But even Romero on the right-hand side, look how much more better Emerson looked. He looked 10 times better, because Romero is over there doing the job, which is helping and covering, doubling up at times, which Sanchez was not doing because Sanchez was too reckless. Sanchez, as much as praise as we give him for coming in, and I've always said this, we're praising him for doing his job. We're not praising him for excelling. But what he does, he just brings that nervous energy on the ball and off the ball. Yeah. How many times did we see him give away the ball, but then counter it with a mistake defensively as well? When you have Romero, Dyer, and Davies there, that is not happening. So it's a huge plus for us going forward, and you won't get anyone else to answer the question better.
Love that. Let me ask you this. Are you talking about it within the panel, or are you talking about
anywhere in the world? Anywhere.
That's superb.
You know what? I was about to say, great points, Dave. But you know what? I can't be fucked. I actually can't.
You're hilarious. Well, let me ask you, James. Let me take one point that Dave made, and let me run with it. Right? I was saying on Dave's channel a couple of weeks back, I was positing the question: was there, whilst we didn't have Dyer back, whilst we had Sanchez, and then we had Emerson Royale, you had Emerson Royale, fragile as he is, and Sanchez on the right wing back, and you had Romero. Is there could we have done better defensively had we bitten the bullet and placed Romero at right centre back and had Sanchez, whilst Dyer wasn't fit, playing in the middle to be able to put a buffer between Emerson and Sanchez?
No, because Sanchez can play wherever. Sanchez can play left centre back, right centre back, centre back. The guy's still a clown. It doesn't matter where you play him. It's like if you do a clown world tour, he's still going to be a clown in Moscow, in Russia, in South America, in North America. He's still a clown. Sanchez is still a clown, whether he plays right centre-back, left centre-back, or centre-back. And at the end of the day, I understand what you're saying, Dave. I do agree with that point that Romero helps out Emerson. But at the end of the day, Sanchez can't help Sanchez because he's shit.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, listen, Sanchez is not a starting player for Spurs. Personally, I don't know if people agree or disagree. I don't want to see Sanchez next season. I also probably don't want to see Ben Davies next season because maybe we keep him on the bench as backup. But at the end of the day, just because he did have a great game against Man City, by the way. He really did. And he did sort himself out. But if you rewind, people don't forget, 2 games where he's made 2 mistakes and he's made other mistakes. Yes, he's better left centre-back than left-back. But at the end of the day, he's still not a brilliant player. So Romero is world-class. Dave's right. Romero is world-class. But his job isn't to help out all his other players. His job is to play where his best position is, and it probably is right centre-back. But Eric Dyer is so much better than Davinson Sanchez. So you've got to play that back 5 that we played the other day. That is our best. In fact, the whole starting 11, without going off topic, is our best 11.
So
that's interesting.
I just want to say 2 things on that. Completely agree with what you're saying. Ben Davies, I think when people criticising him for the Southampton slip, that's a slip. Any player can do. Yes, it was a costly time. I don't really call that. It is a mistake, but it's not like a mistake, like a bad back pass or whatever. You can't help in the right. Someone slipping. It is his fault. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's taking a little bit too much slack for that, as if it was like a bad back pass or a reckless challenge.
Yep.
Romero is incredible. David knows a lot about him, and Bob Spur knew a lot about him. I didn't know a lot about him when he first signed. I don't think he's world class just yet. Don't get me wrong. If that's world class, he's like there. He's like there. And he's got all. Do you know what? We've signed players before and said this player's going to get there. This player's going to get to the very top. This player, Romero, without a doubt, is going to go from there to there. Without a doubt. I just think right now, what's he played now for us? 10, maybe 11 games. World class for me. Right now, I can agree with David. This guy is going to go all the way, and for me, right now, he's the second best central defender on form, or not on form, like potentially in the league. Van Dijk is up there; he's seen it and done it. But I reckon Romero is the one there. But I think to say world class just now is maybe just a lit. But David, like I said, knows a lot more about him than me from Italian.
Listen, Brian, two points on there. I completely understand what you're saying. Maybe world class isn't justified yet. However, I did watch him in the Serie A. He was the defender of the season for Atalanta. If you look at Atalanta's results now, they're actually leaking so many more goals since they've lost him. And actually Galini, by the way, believe it or not. And so Romero was influential. I don't know if you've seen some clips. Obviously, YouTube can make anyone look good, but these are genuine clips of him running back and tackling Lukaku. By the way, Inter Milan was an absolute tank. He ran through defenders like they were butter. He has got some pace on him when he gets going. Romero caught up. Romero made a perfect slide tackle, a little bit like Ledley King against Chelsea all those years ago. He has shown signs to me that he is already world class. And I understand what you're saying, but I've seen him in the other league. And the other thing was on Ben Davies. I get what you're saying about that Southampton game. It was a slip. It was a rainy night. However, look at that Wolves game. We know that you cannot do that. Playing it across goal, onto the edge of the area, 25 yards out, and just allowing a goal to happen so easily. That's all. He should have booted out a play. I wouldn't have even cared if he booted out for a throw-in, right? He's booted it across goal. Everyone from grassroots level knows you can't do that. Everyone knows that. And that's why I'm saying that Ben Davies isn't good enough for us. He's paper over the cracks. I say it every single podcast, and I will say it every single podcast. Until we find someone better, he has to go after that.
Okay.
Yep.
Just to touch on Romero, 2 things that I think makes him world class. One, he's better at 23 than what Virgil van Dijk was at 23. He's already better trajectory than Virgil van Dijk. And number 2, he's actually proactive about defending. You can actually see he really enjoys defending. He enjoys the tactical side of it, the dark arts, hitting people, being on the ball. He enjoys all aspects of defending. And for me, being proactive, being the main one, I really do think he will go on to be world class. And I just hope that we don't cash in on him anytime soon, because when this guy reaches 26, 27, he will be the best in the world at defending.
We're not going to cash in on. We haven't even paid for his initial. We haven't even paid his initial fee yet. Surely we can't be cashing on him until we. Well, listen, I think he's got that look about him. Have you seen him when the camera, after he smashed someone, when the camera zooms in on it, he's got this kind of like look in his eye where he's kind of like, he's not quite looking straight at the back. You can always, he wants to really smash him again. He's almost like, I didn't quite get you hard enough.
Watch.
Slightly like demonic.
Watch when there's a 50-50, right? And just watch the switch in aggression. And he just, as soon as he realizes, hey, I can win this ball and smash somebody. He's like a kid in a candy store. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. The aggression switches and he just, boom, he's in there. He's like a child. I love it.
He reminds me a little bit like sort of a cross between Maldini and Cannavaro. Those players, they always wanted to leave something on someone, and they're like wide-eyed, like they're gonna go in on them again. He's like that. He's got that South American. I know Maldini and Cannavaro aren't South American, but like that element where it's a little bit psychotic. Like Lamella had it in him as well. He's just like would leave one in on a player.
I have to say, Phil, I think Still Cool in the last comment has just summed up exactly what I was trying to say in one sentence.
It's right now. He's top class, but he'll become world class. Yeah,
I think that's just me. But whatever, like what David and James just said, I completely agree with. I just think when we use that word gets used so very, 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 very easily. Like world class and legend are those two words in football that get used very easily. But no doubt whatsoever, he is going to be world class, and he will be the best defender in the league and the best defender in Europe.
Right, but let me ask you guys this though, right? Because I want to just, there's a few more on the defensive stuff, but I do want to shift on because I haven't got you for much longer. But I do want to just ask you how much of a difference. Like, let's not forget against Wolves, Romero wasn't great. Against Southampton, I mean, the whole team was terrible against Wolves, right? But Romero was looking a little bit more vulnerable. Against Brighton, when he came back, he was solid. Against Southampton, he looked good. He personally was good, and the team obviously, it all went tits up in the rain. And then against Wolves, he and everybody else looked poor. I don't know how the stat in front of me, and I should do, because I meant to get it earlier and I'm pissed off with myself for forgetting it, and I'm realizing that now in real time. Yeah! Love it when that happens. But I want to ask you, we haven't seen too much of Eric Dyer and Romero in the same team, right? We haven't seen that combination too much. Against City was probably the first time in memory that I can think of both of them being fit at the same time and playing.
Everton under Conte was the only time under Conte has been able to have them together.
Yeah.
Okay, and we didn't concede then, did we? That was 0-0, right? So, how much of Saturday evening's credit has to go to Eric Dyer? Like, I remember watching. I didn't get the screenshots, but I remember watching. He was like so influential in doing. You saw him doing this. You thought he was like an airport plane fucking. One of those guys.
YMCA from
yeah. But he's like, I want you, Ben Davies, to go to fucking Channel 4 over there and Gate 17 for the next flight out to Ibiza. Like,
you've been watching too much of that big jet TV. You really have.
But how much credit do we have to give to Eric Dyer to come in, and why? You know how I feel about the language thing. I think it's important. Is Eric Dyer a massive influence that allows Romero, because Romero doesn't come across to me like he's a leader in how he plays, but he's not a leader in how he talks. So we'll come to Brian. Oh, actually, who's got to leave first? James, you got to leave first.
Basically, as soon as my dad walks through the door, we're going to be sitting down for dinner, so he can walk through in 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
We'll just go around then. Eric Dyer, how important is he, not just in the game against City, but also going forward?
You know what? I would say Eric Dyer is probably one of the most biggest enigmas with fans for flip-flopping, both on he's incredible. Oh, look at that, my dad's walking in, so this will be the last thing I'll be able to say. When he first signed, do you know what? It's not when he first signed. When Mauricio Pochettino started playing him that season as the holding midfielder, when we had the seatbelt kind of kit, I loved him in that position with Dembele. I thought he had a really, really good season. But then with the changing of managers and injuries and I understand the need for a versatile player. Every team needs one, and it can be a good thing. I just don't think Eric Dyer handles that very well. He needs a position that's his. He stays in it, and then he gets going. When we played in the back four, we've seen it. We apart from Toby and Jan, ever since then, every other formation, there's a calamity waiting to happen. And Dyer was one of those that regularly happened. Whenever he plays in the back three, he looks assured. Now, there's whether you doubt his defending, whether you doubt his passing, which was a bit suspect at some points in Man City. The one thing you cannot knock, shake, or disrespect him on is that man is the organizer, like you said, Sean. Yeah. He is 1 billion% the organizer of that defence. I was at the Chelsea game, the first leg of the Carabao Cup, when he wasn't there. And Ben Davies was very, very vocal trying to organise, but we know how that performance went. It was a terrible performance. There is levels to that, like you were saying with Romero, who I think will be that vocal soon, but I don't know what his grasp of English is or whatever. So I think he will add that to his attributes. But right now, Eric Dyer's contribution in just organising that defence is second to none within the team. You have leaders like Harry Kane who does what he does. You have leaders like Son who can do what he does. But in that defensive area, we've seen when he's been out how lucky. Do you know what I've been saying as well? We're getting to realise how important Ollie Skip is when he's not there. All right, the Man City game, things were a lot better, but Chelsea, Man City, the recent games too, as Benton caught, like the 3 we played, you can clearly see a huge Ollie Skip hole in that midfield. Southampton, Wolves. Well, I think Man City just showed that without Eric Dyer in the centre, there is a huge Eric Dyer-shaped hole in that defence. And I think he is absolutely paramount for the rest of the season to get this job done. It's keeping him fit. It's keeping him fitted in the centre, because keeping him fitted in the centre allows Romero to go to the right and do what you know where Ben Davies is. Not only is he fundamental in the organisational and the leadership in the defence, but having him there allows Romero to go and do what he does. And Romero does what he makes the hardest things look like a piece of piss. And it's because of Eric Dyer being in that position. So I'm going to have to leave you there, but that's how fundamental he is. I might be able to come back depending on how quickly we've got up our food down.
It's always like that.
Got up the food down. That's how I'm going to eat. I'm just God, just being this close to you, I've caught some of that enthusiasm.
No, Brian, I disagree. That was your cream egg Easter egg you've been trumping on all afternoon.
No, I haven't opened it. Look, it's still in the box, okay. like a Star Wars figure.
You haven't opened it yet. Easter's not for like 2 months.
Mate, I got that, mate. I left that at
I'm surprised you even got it. Like, who's selling Easter eggs in February?
Mate, not even in February. I picked this up in January when I was last at Kim's house and it had been in the fridge.
Listen, I used to work in retail. They'd come in on Boxing Day, all the stuff.
So, yeah.
Madness.
So I am going to go, but I'm very quickly going to say big up to everyone at the Irish Hotspur. Everyone loved this man like I love him and subscribe to that amazing channel. Spurs Related is one of the up-and-coming channels, and James and Andre deserve a fuckload of recognition and credit. Cheers, apart from their Trick Gaza question, which I'll never live down. Everyone loves Sean and the Spurs Talk Show. And listen, I just want to say personally, on behalf of everyone at Tottenham on Tour, we got to 4,000 subscribers yesterday.
Yeah, congratulations.
Which was a mammoth achievement. And I just want to thank each and every one of you. And we are going live at 8:15 with Holly Agenbar. And someone that I'd reached out to me on Instagram, a guy called Lee, so it's a new face on the blog. That's at 8:15. But everyone, smash the like and subscribe to this channel. I love everyone in the chat, on the panel. I'm not doing my as always because I've got a new song for Bob, which I did. Return of the Bob, there he is. So I'm leaving with that.
Return of the Bob.
So there you go. That is trademarked to be released on Tottenham on Tour's greatest hits. Peace out. Love you all. Have a good evening.
Cheers, Brian. Come back anytime. All right, guys. I'm gonna bring in. Hang on a second.
Fuck off! I'm joking.
Well, I'm going to bring him in, but because we've only got a few minutes, I'm going to come to James first. I know you've got to jump off soon, haven't you? I know. We've got Adam William Cahill's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Pick it up. Number 2, Irish Hotspur fan. I mean, Tottenham fan. Sorry, James, what are you saying, bud? Sorry,
I was just saying, Adam, sorry for saying fuck off. I just thought it'd be funny, but I didn't actually mean it.
No, he doesn't mean it.
It was funny, so that's grand. They're all good.
It's good. It's good
all
banter.
about the crack here in Ireland, so it's all good.
Listen, even if you're offended, I wouldn't have really been sorry. But anyway, Sean, back on the subject.
Yeah, all right. Let me move on. I want to ask you quickly about I want to ask you about Sessegnon, Ryan Sessegnon. We talked about Eric Dyer, Ryan Sessegnon. James, if this is the last moment I've got with you, I want to know, what are your thoughts on his overall performance? And obviously, defensively, he was sound. Offensively, it seemed like he was pretty quiet, but that's okay given the formation. Is his role more, based around coming in for games where we don't need him to run forward? How do you see him? Does he deserve a longer run in the team? What are your thoughts?
At the end of the day, he's only filling in for Reguilon. At the end of the day, Reguilon is our number one choice, but it's nice to know that Sessegnon can perform to those heights and be a really solid backup. Like, if you look at the other flank, right back, Emerson or Doherty, like, at the end of the day, we're picking between two that aren't most ideal, whereas left back, I feel like we're much more well equipped. We're picking between two decent players. But I think Reguilon tops Sessegnon. But on his performance, I thought he was brilliant. I gave him a 7 out of 10. Maybe that's a little bit harsh, but I think he wasn't amazing. But I thought he did a really good job, especially he was involved in that second goal, driving forwards. And I think he assisted the assist, actually. But he drove forward really well. He looked confident. It didn't look like the way he came off against Wolves really knocked his confidence. I feel like he really kicked on and actually performed probably one of his best performances in the Spurs shirt. Obviously, we haven't seen a great deal of him, but I think he is well suited to left wing back. And I think the only concern I have with Sessegnon is he the best defensively, or is he kind of a converted left winger? Because he actually used to play right wing for Fulham. So at the end of the day, is he just like a converted player, a bit like if you try and convert an Adama Traore? But I think he's great offensively. I think he's going to provide assists and potentially, great crosses. But is he the best defensively? That's where the question marks still are for me. But listen, it's really nice to see that we have a decent backup.
Amazing. Yeah, I agree. I tend to agree. Dave, are you still there, or have you jumped off to the toilet?
Dave,
I'll bring him in.
I've gone to relief.
All right. Well, before we come back to him, then Adam, I'm going to ask you. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, you know what? No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to do it the right way because I know we've got people missing. Ladies and gentlemen, there's somebody at the door. But before we, I just want to see if this is going to work, because this is the guy who taught me how to do this. I'm just going to see if it comes through. Tell me if it's too noisy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if you can hear this. Can you hear this music? Is it playing? Oh, no, it's not working. For fuck's sake. Don't worry about it then. Let me bring him in. It's Mr. Will Stewart. I've fucked it up. I've got music playing in my earphones, but not anywhere else. How you doing, Will? You okay?
I'm doing good. I'll do it for you.
Oh, you can play. It's good to see you, man. Stay there, Will. 1 second. I want to come to Dave, Irish Hotspur first. Dave, let me ask you this, my friend. Sessegnon, right? With all the major, do you think he has to play? Do you think he gets an extended run? Is he there? Is he ready to challenge Reggie, or is he someone that we just use against the top four when we have to play against teams that are going to have 70% possession? What's your thoughts on Sessegnon generally, buddy?
Do you know what? I definitely think he'll play against Burnley anyway, because Reguilon wasn't in training yesterday. So I don't think he'll probably, if you do see Reguilon, he'll probably be on the bench. So I think Sessegnon definitely starts. But do you know what? I was actually thinking about this the other day. Against Liverpool, against Man City, two of the best teams in the league, this guy has performed exceptionally well.
Exceptionally well.
Like, when you look at City and Liverpool, what are they very good at? With their wingers or fullbacks, making them sneaky runs in behind, balls over the top of the fullbacks, in behind. And they usually get a lot of goals by doing that. But Sessegnon kept Mo Salah from doing it, stayed switched on. It didn't really happen. And it also the same at the weekend against Man City. With Sterling or Mahrez, whoever was switching over that side. And then Kyle Walker, he stayed switched on. And for me, for a guy that was brought in and was first playing left wing, to be able to adjust and to be able to do that, it shows that maybe he is learning. He is developing at Tottenham as well since he's first come here. And I wouldn't be hesitant in sticking him in against the big games because he's already proved that he can do it. Really getting
defensively, right? Defensively, he's sounder than Reguilon, right? But you can't, like, Reguilon going forward does offer something. I know Reguilon's also weak sometimes with his final ball, but we haven't seen Sessegnon put too many balls in and do, create too much going forward, have we? So is it one of those, like, depending on the opposition, how do you use him? Or
you know what? It's very hard to see the best of him doing that going forward against Liverpool and the City. Though, if you take them 2 games that he's played in there, I know he's played others, and he hasn't really done much going forward. I think, but he hasn't really got that run in the team that Reguilon has had in them games. But Reguilon does offer going forward for a while there this season, especially under Nuno. Most of our chances created were down Reguilon's side, and at one stage he had our most assists as well for a little while. So I think Reguilon will come back in when fit, but Sessegnon needs to keep his head straight and wait for his opportunity again, because it will come. Because Reguilon does get injuries every once in a while, or the COVID or whatever it may be. He always has a bit of a period out of the team. So Sessegnon just needs to keep his head now, wait for the next opportunity, and then takes that opportunity. Who knows? We have 2 people fighting for positions at left back or left wing back, but that's exactly what we need at Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, Dave. I personally agree with it, and this is what Conte had to say about him today. And I quote: "All the potential. He has all the potential to become an important player. He's fast. He's strong physically. He has great resilience, and in my opinion, has good quality. Sometimes he feels the pressure, but with me, he plays important games. It means I trust him. I changed the system when he's talking now about when he took him off against Wolves. I changed the system not because of him. If you work and you have patience, he can become an important player, and that for England too." So he's now talking him up to become an England. You know what Conte does. He seems to take every player and say that he's got the potential to be a worldie. Listen, before we move on, James, I think it's time. I think you have to shoot, right?
Yeah, that's correct, guys. Sorry, I have to shoot and do my own show. But yeah, pleasure as always, Sean. And
plug your channel, everyone. If everyone's in the chat, I'd love it if you check out James's channel, but not whilst we're doing the show.
Yeah, listen, I was about to say, like, there's 60 of you all come over to Spurs Related right now. That'd be absolutely great. No, I'm joking. Stay here. And,
that's all good.
Come and check us out later. Spurs Related, you know where it is. And yeah, appreciate Sean, you getting me back on here, and always a pleasure. And guys,
James, you're an absolute legend. Make sure everybody does check out Spurs Related. Thank you so much, James. I'll put your link up later on when I'm doing the round table for everyone's channels. Thanks, bro. Enjoy your show.
Enjoy yourselves, guys. All the best.
See you tomorrow.
God bless, mate.
All right, guys. Do I need to get ready? I can't ready. Yeah, he's gone. All right. So back to Dave. How long do I have you for, by the way, before you got to go?
I'm here till about 7:30.
Oh, sweet as, perfect. Okay. Well, let me move swiftly forward then. First of all, I haven't even said hello properly to Adam or Will yet. How are you guys? Thank you for joining. And Will, I'm devastated that I couldn't bring you on with the correct. I've got the fucking thing going. I think I've set it up correctly. That didn't work. It didn't work, bro. It didn't work.
It seemed the volume was pretty low.
Oh, is that what it was? Was the volume? Was
volume was real low. So
okay. How you doing? How are you anyway?
Doing well, man. Doing well.
And Adam, you good, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing well, mate. Having a good one today, getting a few bits and pieces done, being productive, so happy out.
Good boy. Right, we're going to move forward right now to the midfield. We're talking about this, right? So first and foremost, I want to talk about just the overall formation for the game against City and how we take this going forward. There's 60 people watching this right now, guys. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do. It means the world to me. But I want to talk about, first and foremost, Dave, come to you first. What was the formation? Was it a standard 3-4-3 with Kulusevski on the outside of Harry Kane, who just happened to drop deep? I know it's all numbers and tactics on a board, but we spoke about it on your show that one of the options of how to beat City was for Harry Kane to fall into the number 8, right? To the number 8 role. But it turned out he didn't need to be the number 8. He had enough about him to play, the striker and the midfielder. He came back, but then because he had Kulusevski on the right and Sonny on the left, he could come back, win the ball, and then also be there to score the goals. So, are we talking that there's a new formation that's emerging now that doesn't require a Harry Winks? It doesn't require a 10. It's kind of like a blend because Harry Kane somehow can be in both places at once. What did you make of it?
Look, for me, it still looked like the sort of like the 3-4-3 going forward. But defensively, it was definitely, for me, it was probably a 5-4-1 for sure.
Yeah.
Look, against City, you're always going to sit back in that sort of low block. Against other teams, you don't necessarily have to do it as low as we did do it against City. But it's definitely something that we can do, that maybe even in games where we may be up against it for 5-10 minutes, that now we can feel comfortable enough to be able to sit in it, just stem the flow until we can get ourselves back on the ball again. But going forward, it was definitely a 3-4-3. And look, I've said this all along. You can play a two-man midfield, just not with Harry Winks in the team. He is not good enough. He's not good enough progressively on the ball. He's not good enough off the ball. And he's not strong enough. Physically, he's not strong enough. You put Bentancur and Hojbjerg in there, two players that are physically strong enough, two players that are willing to do the work, one that does all the hard work and the ugly side of the game that no one wants to do, and then one that can also do a bit of that, but also he has progressive passing. So, I mean, once you keep these two fit and you can get Ollie Skip back in maybe to bring off the bench or drop in every once in a while to rest players, you can play this 3-4-3 going forward, and I expect to see it again tomorrow against Burnley.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Let me now come to, I'll start with Will on this one, and then we'll come to Adam for the next one, because there's a method to my madness. Will, I haven't heard too much about your Hojbjerg views, right? Like, was the performance that he put in? I know some people on certain chats seem to be like, oh, Hojbjerg, he played okay, but it's same old Hojbjerg. Other people were like, no, he was an 8, 9 out of 10. I personally thought I'm in the latter camp. I thought he was sublime. I want to ask you, Will, was his performance a consequence of having a rest, against Wolves, and now he's recharged? That's column A. Was it because he raised his game for the big team, right? Column B, or was it because of the partnership that he now has with Bentancur, which we're seeing, for the first time, but it also allowed for, the ability of Harry Kane to drop deep, which allowed him to sort of thrive and flourish as much as he did. What do you put? I mean, first of all, what do you think of Hojbjerg's performance? Was it sensational in your opinion? And if it was, what did you put it down to against Manchester City? Because he hasn't done it so much in the last few games. Was it the rest? Was it just raising his game, or was it because of the relationship?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that it was like sensational. Was this the best Hojbjerg performance we've ever seen? No, it wasn't. I mean, the first half, both him and Bentancur gave the ball away pretty frivolously, but it is City and they were under a lot of pressure, so that's expected. Second half, though, they both kind of shirted up, and both of them were playing a lot more consistently and keeping possession of the ball, and or just not giving it away and kind of sloppy passes. Because there was a couple of times in the first half where both of them were, when they weren't even under pressure, were giving the ball away in midfield.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
So I wouldn't say it was necessarily a superb performance. It was good enough, and that they were able to get the job done. I thought Hojbjerg had a little bit of a different role than he normally does. It was more of like a defensive shoring things up type of a role. I didn't really see him playing the balls through to the front line that I saw Bentancur do. But yeah, I don't necessarily know. And then there was that whole deal, after the fact, and Conte says it was nothing burger. But,
oh yeah, I got that. That was my next question. Yeah. He said we're fine, right? We celebrated in the dressing room afterwards. It didn't look fine. Like it looked like it looked like he shrugged him off. Like fuck that. I don't want any part of that hug. What did you make of it?
I just thought it was kind of a Bentancur coming in. I think he's feeling the pressure now, right? He's got to perform, and maybe if he doesn't perform, he loses his spot, because Bentancur's kind of come in and taking his thunder away.
Do you think he's going to lose his spot? I'll open it up, right? Like Adam, Dave. Do you think there was anything to that shrug? Do you think that Hojbjerg's? I mean, I personally think that Hojbjerg's position is secured. It's Winks who's been relegated, but I mean, it didn't look like it was. I didn't see you, boss. It did look like he had a glance, saw who was there, and then went, I don't want any part of that. I mean, what did you guys think? Just because Conte said it was the way it was doesn't mean it was. Like, what do you guys think?
Look, I'll be honest. If I was dropped for Harry Winks and made look like I was the problem against Wolves, I'd be pissed off, to be honest with you. Look, I don't condone it. It did look a bit more than maybe what Conte is alluding to. But if you're Hojbjerg, you can understand the frustrations. I mean, you looked at Ndombele. He was dropped for the cup final, and Harry Winks was put in. He never really recovered. You know, you see other players that come here and they're seeing Harry Winks in the team before them, and they're going absolutely nuts because they know how bad the guy is. Of course, Hojbjerg's going to be pissed off when he's being dropped for Winks, and everyone thinks that Hojbjerg has been the problem. When he hasn't been the problem, we've seen against Man City exactly what he offers to this team. And I keep going back. Every team, every great team of the past in the Premier League and every big team around Europe has someone like Hojbjerg. The reason why people keep talking about Hojbjerg's passing, even though it's not why we brought him in, is purely because they don't want to talk about Harry Winks' lack of passing. At the end of the day, midfield is about partnerships. You go back to United, they dominated the Premier League. They had Roy Keane in there who would be a bit like Hojbjerg. And then Paul Scholes in there for the passing ability. Has to be both. Look, Hojbjerg, for me, I think has been doing the running for two when he's played in beside Winks. And I actually think he had a very good game against City. He made more tackles, he won more ground duels, and more ball recoveries than any other player, any other Spurs player on the pitch against Man City. And that just shows exactly what he's good at. I'll be honest with you, half the Spurs fan base must think that we brought Hojbjerg in to be like Glenn Hoddle. You have to understand we brought him in to do a specific role. At the time, we had Ndombele in there as the ball player. We brought Hojbjerg in to solidify things in there for a bit of steel, which we were lacking. We got it, and now all of a sudden, the players that are the other pieces of the puzzle that haven't been doing their job, people are now putting them faults on Hojbjerg. Hojbjerg is one of them players that's supposed to win the ball and just give it off to the likes of a Bentancur or give simple passes. Yes, sometimes he could be a bit better on the ball, maybe at times, but you have to understand what he's in there, what his role in the team is.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there, Dave. The only caveat to that would be that I wouldn't appreciate it if Hojbjerg legitimately did give him the cold shoulder. I don't think that's fair at all, because of his the fact that he was dropped is one of two things. He was dropped either because his performances pre-Man City were diabolical, the previous two. So I mean, he either he needed the rest, or he was literally he was getting a scolding for not putting the effort in, one way or the other. Either way, he deserved to be dropped for the previous game. You know what I mean? He did. Whether, even if it's just to rest him, that could have been it. He came back after being refreshed. Fine, that's okay. But there's no point in giving Conte the cold shoulder either way, because either he underperformed and therefore needed to be dropped to be taught a lesson, or he's just been run ragged and needed a break. Either way, what's the point in him having beef with Conte?
It's weird. It's interesting, right? Like, so I thought Hojbjerg was awesome. Like, Will makes a really good point. He did give the ball away. I think a lot of people gave the ball away at times during the game, and you could argue the same about Man City as well. But you know, it's weird that Hojbjerg split so many opinions. There's people in the chat, you know, like Americanka saying that I'm saying when he was sensational, it's hyperbolic. It's probably correct. He wasn't sensational. I thought it was better than good. Maybe not as good as sensational, but a lot of people on here, some people were saying, you know, Ellie's saying, you're supposed to be on the show, Ellie, not in the chat. What's going on? Hojbjerg said he's a dream player, as everyone knows. PC Matt saying he's a different type of player to Winks. He's a more of a defensive player. Somebody else up here, where is it? He's saying he's a brick. Hang on, I forget what this is. Potomac saying he's a brick. It's a weird one with to Dave's point, right? Like, Maybe people are forgetting what sort of player he was brought in to be. You know, I don't know. I thought he was great, but I want to move on to the next point. It's an easy segue, which is about, you know, what do we do, right? If we all agree that Winks should be relegated, maybe to, and we can talk about Winks in a second. But well, actually, you know what? There's two questions here, and they're kind of combined, right? So when it comes to Oliver Skipp, I was going to ask you guys, you know, have we now found the right two to play in that kind of defensive holding pattern in Bentancur and Hojbjerg? You know, how does Skippy, when he's fully fit, how does he come back in? Do we need to just use the same formation that we have done when it works, but trial it with Bentancur and Skippy, and then does Hojbjerg get hooked? Or, you know, and what happens there? And as far as Winks, are we all aligned here that Harry Winks is, you know, forever going to be the fourth choice until the summer when we can hopefully get rid? Or is there still a time and a place when Harry Winks is a necessary option to start the game. Like, not only when we've got injuries, but if we had a full strength four midfielders to choose from, is there any situation where Harry Winks is the first choice in any kind of pairing? And I'll start with Will.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've never been necessarily a Winks fan per se, not even under Pochettino. But he's had some good performances this year, and I'm not going to say that he hasn't, because that would just be, dishonest. I don't do that.
You can do it if you want to. Don't matter.
No, I can't. It's not in my nature, and that's why it's like Kane the long shots comment too, but bothers me a little bit because Bentancur actually had won more duels than Hojbjerg, and had the same amount of tackles as Hojbjerg in the match against City. So no, up higher above that one. But I'm just saying, like he said, Hojbjerg made more tackles, won more duels, and had more ball recoveries than other players in the Spurs match. That's not true. Sorry.
It is true. It's fact.
No, it's tackles 3.
No, it's tackles
duels
5.
1, 10, 5. Bentancur won 5. Hojbjerg won 4.
No, it's tackles 5, ground duels 5, and ball recoveries 9. It's more than any other player on the pitch. It's fact. It's not fiction.
Well, I don't know what site you're looking at, but I mean that would have to be
okay.
Different site. I'm just saying, yeah.
Regardless of the stats, I think it's certainly true that that Winks is fourth choice every day of the week. There's not a hope that you would ever consider Winks to be a better option than the other players.
In no formation not even against Middlesbrough in 10, 12 days time.
When you say formation, Winks can only play in a 3. Can only play in a 3. You put him in a 2 and we're goosed.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Considering it seems to be the only way that Conte wants to play, we're stuck with that, and which means that he's got to be last choice, and then he's got to be gotten rid of in the summer if we're continuing to play with a 4 across the middle. And it's a case of, I don't think there'll be. I think Skippy fits in with the 2 with anybody. Skippy can come in and replace Bentancur sometimes. Skippy can come in and replace Hojbjerg sometimes to give whoever a chance to rest. And at the end of the day, I don't think you wouldn't even need to be like, okay, who's our first 2? You're just rotating the 3 of them all the time in the 2 pairing, and you're just giving them a rest. Winks doesn't get a look in that case. It's a simple case of with those 3 players, they play 2 games each and then get a rest. Do you know what I mean? And Winks doesn't get a look in, not when we're playing in that formation, because he's absolutely diabolical.
So putting aside Winks, if we can all agree then that Winks is at best an option, but not one that's first choice. What about Skippy? How does he come? If he comes back, does he get a chance only when Hojbjerg needs a rest, or only when there's an injury to one of the other 2, or do we need to see what he can do with?
No, we have to rotate. So why wouldn't you put him in straight away? Like, you instantly have the three of them rotating in those positions, like straight away. We know that Skip can do it. We've seen the stats. We didn't concede when it was Skip, Hojbjerg, and Dyer playing in the team together. So like we have no concern whatsoever. Unless
can we all agree on the same stats? Can we all agree on the same stats for that bit? Or
I'm looking at SofaScore right now, and that's what it says. So I don't know where David got his information from, but it's
I haven't got the stats in front of me either. So
we are sure though that Skip, Hojbjerg, and Dyer playing together have been quality, right? We've been it's been like. We conceded nothing. We didn't lose a game, whatever the stat was. Like they're class. So there's no. And the only thing the caveat I was going to say is if Skip comes back from his injury and he's not performing to the same level, that'll be a concern. But as long as he comes back and he's immediately in the fray the same way he was before, we're fine.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I just heard someone. I've heard a noise. Hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't expecting this guy to pop along, but I think he's seen the crowd, seen the crew, seen the panel, and thought, I want some of that. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Mr. Alex from THFC. You're on mute, my friend. You're on mute, bro. Come on, Alex. Figure it out, man.
I'm
There
better
he
off
is.
on mute. I did it myself on mute for a reason. For a reason. I've never heard some absolute waffle in my whole entire life. I've never heard some absolute waffle in my whole
From
entire
who?
life.
From who? From who? Who was waffling?
You know who it is, because Mr. Box Office is back in your house, by the way, at the moment, and he's going to banter this guy who's Mr. David Harris, who absolutely talks absolute waffle. I never heard absolute waffle in my whole life. You know what I mean?
Did you just refer to yourself as Mr. Did you just refer to yourself as Mr. Box?
Really? Did you say about the stat about we've not lost any games with Dyer and Hojbjerg and the other player as well?
Again, Alex,
I've never heard such absolute waffle in my life. By the way, we only played one in that Liverpool game. By the way, Bob, we only played one in the Liverpool game. Manchester City, that was brilliant. That was fantastic. But we only had 30% possession, 10% possession, whatever it was. So let's get it right. You know what I mean? Last minute goal. Fantastic. Carry on with that. That's a plus. I will say that all day long, because I've been saying Leicester doing it, so I'm going to praise Tottenham for it. If they carry on doing that, fantastic. I don't want to say championship, because at the moment there's still a long way to go. But
wait, what are you talking about? Well, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Like you've gone off on a rant.
No, last minute goals. No, I'm saying a positive. I'm giving you a positive.
Oh, against Man City, last minute goals. Yeah.
Because like Leicester City, Manchester City scoring late goals, fantastic. You know what I mean? That you can't look past that. If we carry on with that, I'm happy. That shows fitness. Everything fantastic. That's it. But we only had 10% possession. You know what I mean? So. You know what I mean?
Doesn't matter how much possession we have, as long as we win.
I think there is an issue there. I'll give you that. Also, this Hojbjerg argument is absolute nonsense, especially when you start arguing that saying Winks.
What Hojbjerg argument? What are you talking about? What Hojbjerg argument?
Whole argument saying, Winks is not really good, isn't it? So really, you're not.
But Winks is awful. Do you think Winks is a good player?
He's an okay player. Yes, I do agree. What Adam says, he's spot on. He can't play in the two. No, absolutely spot on. But I think if you're making an argument just because Hojbjerg needs to get into the team because Winks is bad, you really are clutching at straws. Because we're talking about other midfielders, the best midfielders. The fact is, Bentancur makes him look good. Skip makes him look good. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. So I don't know where the argument is about Hojbjerg's this, Hojbjerg's that, Hojbjerg's this. He kept on getting fouled all the time because he can't handle the ball. He can't handle pressure. He cannot handle pressure on the ball. And David, you can look up in the air, bruv. I can show you.
Well, let's bring Dave back in.
You think Hojbjerg gets fouled because he can't handle the ball?
Yes, he can't.
It's not why you get fouled. You get fouled because other people can't take the ball off you.
No, he can't handle it, Bob. You can see he can't handle it. You can see he can't handle it. Trust me. I can show you. I can show you images. But Manchester City were actually getting annoyed by him actually going down easily. That's how bad it was.
Most players.
So I'm sorry. I'm not hearing this rubbish about him playing well. Bentancur played well. Kulu looked good as well. Yeah, but again, needs time as far as I'm concerned. Still, like he was better than Moira. That's 100%. But if you're going to tell me that it's Hojbjerg and Bentancur, you are clutching at straws. You are clutching. And you are clutching at straws really.
Well, I mean, all you have to do, Alex, is look at the Wolves game where Bentancur and Winks played compared to the City game where Bentancur and Hojbjerg played. I mean, what?
But how much possession do we have, Bob?
It's because the result against City doesn't suit your narrative. It doesn't mean
how much possession do we have, Bob?
Bentancur are better than Bentancur and Winks.
But how much possession do we have, Bob? How much possession do we have? 10%.
Exactly, it's again that suits Hojbjerg.
Exactly. So that's not against a decent team, against a flat line of four, but two backs of four. Let's see what happens then. Let's see what happens when it's for the team, for us to go at the team. Let's see what happens then.
Alex, you do realize that Hojbjerg has more goals than Harry Winks this season.
Well, you're comparing him to Harry Winks.
Well, I'm not sure what your argument is, Alex.
Comparing to Harry Winks. Is he better than some of the top midfielders, Bob? Is he better
Alex, he's all we've got, right?
He's better than Conte. We don't have top midfielders at our club. I'm comparing them to who we have in the team. I'm dealing with Tottenham Hotspur. I don't deal with Brighton like you do. I deal with Tottenham Hotspur, right?
Well, I'm looking at other.
I compare Hojbjerg to who we have, who his competition is at the club. Not a Fabinho, not someone at City, because we don't have them players.
Okay, so if you're having that argument, then we're not championship contenders. Then we're not top four. Then, bruv. We're not.
Well,
top
we're
four
going
then,
to talk
bruv.
about
If you
top
wanna
four.
go there, bruv.
Hang on.
No, I'm saying to him, no, because he's making the argument. Let him dig his hole, Sean. Let him dig his hole, Sean. I'm saying to you right now, right? If you're telling me that he's not good enough for those midfielders, we're not top four then, bruv. That's my argument then. That's my argument. So let's go then.
Okay, well let's just move on from the Hojbjerg, right? Because we've got 5 people in the chat. You have differences of opinions. I think what Dave is saying is if we've got 4 midfielders, Winks is lower down the pecking order, and while Skip is out, Hojbjerg and Bentancur is the first choice, not only by default but by choice.
Well, I mean, look, Sean, it's not only my opinion. It's
I get
manager's opinion. It's what everyone's seeing between Wolves and Man City. Let's be honest. Everyone apart from Alex.
But Alex's point is, I mean, if I'm maybe paraphrasing you, Alex, but your point is that Hojbjerg's not good enough as a player. So at the first opportunity, we need to improve on Hojbjerg. But is that right? But like you're pissed off, or you're irritated by Dave suggesting that Hojbjerg's a good player, and you're saying he's not a good player, right? Is that basically it?
I'm just saying that everybody's going over the top about this guy. I don't think he's like. I just think there are deficiencies there, and when they compare him to like players like Winks, where for me he's not a defensive midfielder anyway. I think that you're clutching at straws. You are completely.
Alex, can I ask you a question? So as far as the midfield are concerned, right? The midfield 2, and we know we're only playing with a 2 in the middle.
Yeah.
Isn't the best thing to do, given the 4 players, the only 4 central midfielders that we have, and you cannot play the same 2 week in, week out because they're going to need a break. Yeah. So isn't the best thing to do to rotate Bentancur, Hojbjerg, and Skip, and leave Winks out altogether?
You know what? You're spot on with the Winks thing. I can't argue the Winks thing, right?
Yeah, I think that's what we're all saying.
Midfield then. Hang on. You're sitting here talking about Winks coming into midfield. If you don't even believe Winks is better than Hojbjerg yourself, why are you on here coming on, with the attitude you have done, talking to me about Hojbjerg when he's clearly better than Harry Winks? You don't even believe. So what are you talking? You're talking absolute rubbish. You are talking absolute crap. You don't even believe that Winks is better than Hojbjerg. You're after. Do you see what you've done? You come in here and gone full circle in the space of 5 minutes. It's too easy. It's way too easy.
Alex, before you retort, Will, you're a very diplomatic, intelligent fella. Let me see if you can make sense of the
maybe
debate
diplomatic.
Here.
I don't know.
Let me see if you can make sense. Like, am I right in thinking that that Alex is suggesting that the Hojbjerg isn't good enough? But Dave is saying Hojbjerg's the best of what we've got from the choices we have with injuries and with Winks in the background. I'm not sure why there's an argument here. Will, what do you make of it?
I think they're both right in different aspects. And I think that Hojbjerg overall is probably a better, just a better all-around midfielder than Winks is. He has more in his basket than Winks does. But there are certain teams that we play where Harry Winks is going to be more effective than Hojbjerg, and there are going to be matches where Hojbjerg is more effective than Winks. I don't think it's a true dichotomy, right? Winks or Hojbjerg. I think there's a third option here that is both.
Do you think that there's an option where Winks plays in a 2?
Good question.
It depends on the team. I really think it depends on the team.
Well, Burnley, you can't get much of an easier time. Burnley is second from bottom. Right, I got the stats. We can go through it. But like Burnley, they've only conceded 10 goals at home, but they've only scored 20 goals all season.
I think it has to do with more of their midfield. For example, Wolves was a bad time to do it because they have one of the best midfields in the Prem. I think better than our midfield.
Yeah, Wolves are fantastic. Yeah.
So. No, I don't think that's necessarily the team that I would do it against. Burnley, maybe a Watford, maybe somebody who we know for a fact isn't going to come at us, that they're just going to sit back. So if we know that they're going to sit back, park the bus, play 7 men behind the ball, in that back line, then maybe that's the kind of game that you bring in Winks in because he's more creative. He just is. He has more progressive passes than Hojbjerg does. this season.
I think he's so weak though. Like he doesn't have he's not a physically strong player. And I think if he's playing in a 2 in the midfield, he's just I've said this time and time again. Sorry, he's basically like an empty space in the middle of the pitch at times. When he has the ball, there are moments where he can pull off pretty excellent long passes, but when he gets pressured, he'll lose the ball like that. And then an awful lot of the time, he does have a history, although in his recent games it hasn't been too bad, but he has a history of passing the ball back and
passing the ball back. That was always my base. Like I said, I've never been a Harry Winks fan, but he has had some good performances this year.
But I think it's always been in a 3 though. Whenever we have, we had the odd time played in a 3. Like against Liverpool, we had a 3 in the middle.
Yeah. Could be. I to be honest with you, I don't have a good enough memory to remember every single time he played well, if it was in a 3 or not. I'd have to go look that up. But
very rarely in a 2.
You very well could do that.
I mean, you look at the 2 games before the City games where we played it 2. Wolves and Southampton.
I'm not.
Yeah, and Chelsea.
I don't put that down to the midfield though.
My argument's not against
midfield both games.
Yeah, but my argument's not about how he's better than other team, the players that we've already got. My argument is, compared to some of the midfielders we've already had, and for the players that that he's competing with, he ain't good enough. He ain't good enough. He needs to do more. As far as I'm concerned.
But he's all we've got. He's one of the 4 that we've got, Alex, until the end of the season.
No,
right? So
but
there's no point in reminiscing about like Dembele and Wanyama and stuff.
I'm not reminiscing that. I'm just saying my argument is, okay, whether people will agree with me or not, okay, and it's not no vendetta. It's
all right. Yeah.
In context, he's not better than some of the top midfielders. He's the weak link, as far as I'm concerned. You can, I think, what Adam says is spot on about Winks. I've been at the stadium. It's proven he's not good in the 2. Right? He's only better in the 3. That's 100%. And he only works half of the team, but he's not a defensive midfielder. So that's why I say he has a little bit of leeway, a little bit there in that sense. Also, he's homegrown. Whatever you say about it or not, that's the way it is sometimes. Homegrown does help him a little bit more in that sense. But if you're talking about a top midfielder, I think he needs to do more for me, Hojbjerg. And
that's fine.
Skip's got more to his game than Hojbjerg has, and he's got that drive and everything else. If you look at Bentancur, he more takes initiative when he's on the ball. Hojbjerg is more reactive, and I don't like that. You see what I'm saying? And that's not good in a possession team, which is what we're trying to transfer ourselves into as a possession team. Because this counter-attacking football only works certain times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If a team is coming at you, if a team's not coming at you, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And that's what point Conte wants. You see what I'm saying? So that's my argument.
Conte wants to play 2 in midfield. If Harry Winks isn't a defensive midfielder, when you play 2 in midfield, you need a defensive midfielder and someone that can also do a bit of the defensive side, but primarily they're in the team to be able to pass forward, break the lines going forward and stuff like that with passes in over the top and stuff like that. So by default then, you put Winks up against Bentancur, nowhere near his level, not even good enough to lace it or clean his boots, so he's not getting in there. And if you need a defensive midfielder in beside Bentancur, well, you're not going to put Winks in there because, in your words, Alex, he's not a defensive midfielder. So then tell me where Winks fits into the 2 in midfield if that's what Conte wants. So therefore, by process of elimination, Hojbjerg suits the system and suits the team better than Harry Winks. So why did you come on with the aggression you did if that's the case?
It was a tiny bit heated as you come in, Alex. Shots fired straight off the bat.
You can take it.
He can take it. Dave can take it. I know. The big boy.
I do need to know where you're getting your source though for Hojbjerg having 5 tackles.
Oh, that's no point. We can talk about that. We can figure that out later.
My point is that I've already made the point anyway. If David wasn't listening, I've made my point why I say that he's not good enough. That's my argument. I'm not saying about Winks because I've already said already that you were right about Winks. I've told you already that he's not defensive.
My
debate is that he ain't that great in compared to other midfielders. So that's why my argument is, and that's it.
But
so
Alex, I don't think our conversation was ever about the quality of Hojbjerg in general. It was always just about the fact that, like, even if you were to say out and out, and I would, this would be my opinion as well, that the best two that we could play in the middle would be Skip and Bentancur. I think Skip is a better player than Hojbjerg. I think a lot of the time when Hojbjerg's played really well.
You think Skip's better than Bentancur? Is that what you just said?
No,
Hojbjerg.
I think Skip is better than Hojbjerg. I think
Hojbjerg, sorry. Okay. Yeah.
No, I think Bentancur's already proven himself to be the best, period. Yeah. But I think, even if you consider that Skip and Bentancur are the best two, you still need to rotate. You can't have Skip and Bentancur playing absolutely every single game. So Hojbjerg is the one that has to play in the rotation, and you keep Winks the hell away from the team. That's what we've got in front of us at the moment. Come the summer transfer window, I'm sure we're going to get other reinforcements in. It changes the game altogether. But and I would be of the opinion as well that Hojbjerg is a little bit overrated among a lot of the Spurs fans. Personally, that is the way I feel about the guy. But he absolutely has to be in that rotation, and Winks has to be left on the bench every single time, just based on on the fact that Hojbjerg is of a better quality than Skip by a country mile. Skip's completely useless, especially when he's not in a 3.
And just to clear up with Will, how many tackles did you say Hojbjerg made?
3.
3. Well, on SofaScore, which I'm on right now, it says he made 4 ground duels and 1 aerial duel.
Here we go.
That's five tackles.
Look at the tackle. It says how many tackles he made. It says 3.
Are you both on SofaScore?
Yeah.
Ground duels and aerial duels. 4
look at tackles.
That makes
3.
5. But the ground duels and aerial duels above it is contradicting that.
Yep.
4 and 1 is 5.
Ground duels aren't tackles.
Ground duels and aerial duels, they're both tackles.
No, they're not tackles.
I feel like I'm going back to match
There's a tackle
now,
stat,
honestly.
and there's 3.
I might as well just go and do a match exam. Honestly, I've never heard such absolute waffle in my life. Honestly,
Alex, so they want to defend their point.
Tackles 3. Hojbjerg had 3 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 2 blocks. That's what he had.
Okay, and he also had 4 ground duels, 1 aerial duel.
Right, Bentancur had 5.
What is the difference between a duel and a tackle? This is a key for the sake of the argument. So what's a duel?
So a ground duel could even just be a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge that pushes somebody out of the box. It's where 2 players are dueling for the ball and 1 player wins it. So if you win the duel, you get a completion of that.
Get a mark. Okay.
Yeah. They actually have the total. So he was in 8 duels and he won 4 of them. So he won 50%. Bentancur was in 10 duels and won 5. He won 50%. An aerial duel is when 2 people go up for a header at the same time and the individual who wins it. That's not a tackle. Right, that's an aerial duel. It's a duel between 2 people. A tackle is considered when you go in with your foot and you take the ball away from them. There's a whole different stat set for tackles, and it says tackle 3. Right. So if there's a stat that says tackles, you can't say he had 5 tackles, adding up ground duels and aerial duels when there's actual tackles, which is 3.
Okay. Where did the discontentment come from with regards to the number of tackles, though? Because like 3 or 5, why did it?
Well, because David said that Hojbjerg had more of all of these stats than anyone else. When Bentancur had more ground duels, won. He has as many tackles, won. He had more blocks than Hojbjerg, right? So he had 5 more presses, 1 less interception, 3 more blocks, 2 SCA, 1 GCA. But Hojbjerg had a higher pass completion, but Bentancur had higher progressive carries.
Well, what I would say on that as far as like who are the competing to be the best or to have have the mainstay in the center of the pitch. I think I can't remember who it was said it, but someone made a point of saying that Bentancur and Hojbjerg are the new Dembele and Wayama, and I'm like, I can see Bentancur fulfilling the Dembele role for sure. He has that talent, he has that ability. He'd only get better under Conte. I don't think Hojbjerg fits that mold though. I'm happy to have Hojbjerg in the rotation for sure, but especially over Winks. But for the moment, I do think he is like, just to be completely transparent. I think Hojbjerg is one that we can improve on in the summer. I think if we bring in someone like if we have a Kezier Bentancur play every time, do you know.
But we're not worried about what happens in the summer. Right? We're trying to figure out how good Tottenham's chances are to get top 4. Adam, I take your point entirely, and I think also Dave and Will, stats tell one story. To someone else's point in the comments, like the seeing eye test, I think both of them played really well. Whether or not Hojbjerg won more tackles or didn't, but the aerial duels versus ground duels, at the end of the day, I feel like both of them. I think they both played well, and whoever came out on top, it's.
And you've got the fact
that's
that
why I have OCD, and so if a number says something and it's not that, I can't.
That's fair enough.
Not
Okay.
drop that.
But if everyone also keeps saying that Hojbjerg performs, Hojbjerg is kind of he's glorified by the fact that he's playing next to Skip or he's playing next to Bentancur. The most important thing is if he's playing better with them next to him, then they should be the one. Both of them should be the ones playing next to him in rotation. So I still think that means we're in strong contention for top four.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. It's the argument's not about how many tackles or anything like that. It's whether we're a good team. It's that's the whole point of the whole thing. You know what I mean? It's whether we're a good team, effective team. That's the whole point.
Alex, on that point, because we spent a long time talking about the midfield, and it was only supposed to be a little 10-minute segment. It's ended up being a 40-minute debate. I know Dave's got to leave in a minute as well, so I just want to just move swiftly forward onto the next side of the team, if you like, the forward side. And I want to talk a little bit, and I'll come to Dave first, because I know you're probably going to have to jump off, so I'll give you the first crack at it, mate. Dejan Kulusevski, Deki, however he wants to be called, Kulu, right? Conte's quotes about him, right? He's young, but you can see that he's ready for this league. Mm-hmm. You can see against City, he was fantastic. And then looking at the stats, so far he's got 1 goal and 1 direct assist in 166 minutes of football. But he also created 2 direct XGs versus Brighton. And he had 1 shot off target against Southampton and 1 XG as well for someone else. I forget who that player was. Like, basically, Dave, I want to ask you, like, what sort of player? I'm going to kind of conflate a few questions into one. I'll let you just go for it. And then after you leave, we can develop it with the rest of the panel. But what sort of player are we looking at here with Kulusevski, right? Does he offer something that the other forwards don't have when you compare him to Lucas and to Bergie and maybe even Sonny? And also, do you think he becomes a direct regular starter for us now? And if so, what does that mean for people like Lucas Moura?
Look, I really like Kulusevski. Is he the finished article? No. Do we have one of the best prospects around Europe on our hands? In my opinion, I think we do. Look, what he doesn't have maybe compared to like Bergwijn and Lucas is maybe probably that end product, I would say. I know Lucas. I think Lucas has 2 goals and 4 assists this season, but he's obviously played a lot more than what Kulusevski has. But look, against City, Kulusevski worked incredibly hard. He was up and down the pitch. Lucas also has that. I'm not sure Bergwijn does. Look, I think time will tell with Kulusevski what he would offer different to Lucas, because in fairness to Lucas, he has the most turnovers in the opposition third, out of any of our players. So it's hard to know. It's hard to know. But look, what he did do well, and what I've seen him do well since he's come here, even when he came on against Brighton for them couple of minutes, it's his end product. It's his decision making in the final third, and I think that probably is what ultimately will separate him from the likes of a Bergwijn, from the likes of a Lucas in the long run. Yep.
All right. I appreciate that, mate. We could talk about Kulusevski all day, but I know you've got to jump off, haven't you? Do you want to just give a quick show? Are we seeing you tomorrow? I'm on your channel tomorrow, obviously for the watch-alongs and stuff. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the channel?
Yeah. If those who don't know me, you can find me over at the Irish Hotspur. A Harry Kane loving channel, Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg loving channel as well. No, look, we just like to vibe out over there and have the crack. We try to do content daily as well, as much as we can. And if that's your sort of thing, make sure you smash the subscribe button. And look, if you like Shawnee, he's always there. So, come on over.
Dave, you're an absolute fucking legend, man. I appreciate you stopping by. Make sure everyone who hasn't already, Irish Hotspur, I'll make sure I put all the links in as we go forward. I'm not prepared to do it right now because I'm just not prepared, because I'm failing at my job, as always. It's how bad I am at multitasking. But everyone, Dave, the Irish Hotspur, and catch us tomorrow over there for the pre-match pump-up and for the watch-along for the Burnley game. Cheers, Dave. Enjoy yourself over on Jack's channel for the Euro Talk for a watch along for the Champions League stuff tonight, I think.
Big up, Dave. God bless you, brother.
You do. See you, boys.
All right, guys. And then number 4. than there before. Right, we're going to continue with the 63 people in the chat, by the way. There was 70 a minute ago, which is awesome. Please hit the like, the subscribe button, and also the notification bell. I've never actually asked for anyone to hit the notification bell, but you know why? I don't know. I don't want to push things too much. But if you don't mind already, if you've already hit the subscribe button, then just put the notification bell on as well, just so you know next time that we go live. Because you never know when we're going to do it, because we're not organised enough at Spurs Talk Show to have regular segments. We just do it when we feel like we've got time. Anyway, back to the panel. Kulusevski, Will, let's start with you. What do you make of him, bro? Does he offer something different, right? I've gone through the stats. I just mentioned it a minute ago. He's obviously made a decent start at 21 years old. But I want you to kind of give your thoughts on whether or not, is his crossing ability something that he had 2 crosses and they were both sublime, right? He had 2 chances against Wolves where he passed the ball perfectly to Harry Kane, who ballooned it over, and to Bergwijn, who ballooned it over at the game against Brighton. Like, does this guy have a deftness to his passing or his crossing that Lucas doesn't, and that nobody else in our forward line does? How impactful can this guy be over the next 15 games?
I mean, for sure, he's got a better pass on him than Lucas Moura does. Lucas Moura is probably a better dribbler than he is, maybe probably better on the ball than he is. But as far as I think IQ and tactical awareness and playing passes in and stuff like that, it's gonna be light years ahead of Lucas Moura. Even though Lucas Moura is, I think, his second most assists this season so far. So yeah. He's been a lot better this season than I think he has in the past. I can't remember him having 4 assists halfway through the season at any point in the past. I'd have to double check, but no, Kulusevski he's going to be a good player. I'm not one who gets on. I'm not I don't get on hype trains about players that we sign just because we sign them. So I didn't rate Bryan Hill and I didn't rate Emerson, but I rate Bentancur and Kulusevski. I do a lot of research on players, both the eye test and through statistics, and both of them look like consistent players. So.
All right. Well, listen, I tend to agree. I think he's going to be. Maybe I'm a bit more pumped up about him. But I'll tell you something else. I just heard someone. Let me just see if I can try this again now. Ladies and gentlemen.
There it goes. I hear
it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got another member of the team coming in. I think it's his debut on the show. I don't know if this is even the music for him. What is this? It's Cody Mack, ladies and gentlemen. He wants to come in and say hello. How are you, Cody?
There's somebody at the door. There's somebody at the door.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
I don't know that connection, Cody.
It's because the doorbell rang. The doorbell was ringing. That's why. Someone. Who could it be? All right, let me get back into it, Cody. It's good to have you on board, my friend. Thanks for stopping by. Let me ask, what did I get to? All right, so we're talking about with Kulusevski, but what does this mean? And we'll come to Alex on this one. Alex, what does it mean for Bergwijn's future, and for that matter, for Bryan Hill? Right? What like if Kulusevski can offer something different to what Lucas Moura can. Like Lucas Moura and Bergwijn, you could argue they have kind of similar attributes. They run, they're kind of small. They're not, I mean Moura's good in the air for his size, but they both they like to get the ball at their feet and run at players, right? And Bryan Hill, we're not even sure what he can do, but if Kulusevski is going to be someone who can offer something different, what is the emergence of him in a 3, even if you got Harry Kane dropping back and doing the role of Harry Winks or whatever else? What does this mean for the likes of Bergwijn and for the likes of Lucas Moura? How do you foresee? Do you think Bergwijn's gone at the end of the season? Do you think we need 5 people that are in the front line, 3 of which offer the same thing? I'll let you just run with it generally.
I feel sorry for Bergwijn. I think Bergwijn should have been given more of an opportunity. I think for me, I think from what I understand, he plays in the position of Kane, which. At the moment, I think we're going to get on. I don't know if we're going to get onto Kane at all, but I think at the moment, I think he's not going to get. I don't think he's going to get that much opportunity because from what Conte says, he's going to keep on playing him, which I have an issue with. I don't like that, but we'll get onto that a little bit further. I think the thing with Kulu at the moment, I think we'll see the best of him next season. I think at the moment he's doing things right. I think he does more than Moira. He runs. He makes runs, which Son does, and that caused a lot of problems to Manchester City on Saturday. So he was very, very effective. I still think he's an unknown quantity to some of the Premier League, so that's a very dangerous thing in some way. You know what I mean? Especially when you start very well, because I know Bergwijn started very well and he tailed off, didn't he? So I'm always very cautious about players that start very, very well. Some players start very slowly and then they get very good afterwards, and they might either or they don't play well at all. You know what I mean? So I think we just have to just give him time. I think. Other than different to Bentancur, I think Bentancur's a little bit different to Kulu, but I think Kulu just needs a little bit more time. He's young. He hasn't gone through his bad spell yet, I think, which again you need to see how it goes. So, but he was very impressive against Manchester City. I won't lie, because he made some very good runs, and that final pass in the last minute was really, really good, really good.
Wasn't it?
Composure. That's very difficult at that time, especially after losing the goal from the penalty. That was very, very impressive. I mean, I haven't watched the game back. I'm going to do a stream on it to say my opinions on that and give my own thoughts on it. But I think I think Moira's positioned in trouble. I think he needs to improve, because the fact is, unfortunately, he's not effective enough. He can't keep on doing what he's doing, running in the middle. What Kulu does, he stays wide, and that's more effective. You see what I'm saying? And that's what caused Manchester City problems. If Moore was in that team, you would not have those goals. You know what I mean? Maybe Kane would have scored. Maybe Son would have scored. I think that I reckon. I shouldn't put this on stream, but I reckoned we were going to either get a draw or a win because of our strikers. Look what happened. You know what I mean? Brian Hill, that's a difficult one, really. I think from what people have said, he should have gone somewhere in the Premier League to get used to the Premier League. Because
he's doing it. He's doing it in Spain again, right? But he did it in Spain before we bought him. That's the reason we paid a lot of money for the guy. And he comes over here. He has a couple of little good matches, a couple of little kind of cameos, but then we send him back to where he came from. It's a different league, right? It's the same with Lo Celso. Just a different league. Like, show it. You got to learn you got to swim in the deep end, not the shallow end, I guess, right?
Yeah, he's got to learn. He's got to learn. I don't think that was a good decision, I think, from Tottenham. But I think it's because we haven't got any Europe anymore. I think that's a problem. I think that's why we had to, let him send him out on loan. I think they just desperately need to give him some chance to, give him a chance on loan. So, I think Kulu is cool at the moment. He's good, but I do feel that Bergwijn needs a chance, and we'll see what Moura can do. But I think he'll struggle. I think he will struggle.
Who?
Moura will struggle.
Moura will struggle now because Kulusevski's kind of stepped up, yeah? You think Moura's going to have limited chances?
I think he'll have limited opportunities. I think he needs to improve in terms of his being clinical in front of goal and doing stuff, because I think he got lucky with certain things. I think he has played well. I think he works really hard, but when you're a striker, you need to score more goals and sort out the assists as well. So I think that you've got to be more clinical. I think that's the problem with me for Moira, and that's it really. So yeah.
And Adam, appreciate that, mate. Good points, well raised, Alex. Adam, do you think that Kulusevski got Kerry and McDonald here in the chat saying Kulu's top end speed isn't bad? He just doesn't have a lot of acceleration. It takes him a while to get going. We've got Soul Taker 212 saying he's got the pace of a 3-wheeled van. A lot of people doubting Kulusevski's pace. Obviously, everything's relative, right? Compared to Lucas Moura, compared to Bergwijn, it's going to be difficult to compete on a pace level. But I definitely think Kulu's got things that, in my opinion, that Mora and Bergwijn don't, which is like Alex said, composure on the ball. That last, if the boot was on the other foot, right, that last minute chance, 90, whatever it was, third minute, if it was Lucas Moura who got the ball down in the right touchline and then tried to drag it inside with Matt Doherty doing the little run, the sort of the decoy, do you think Lucas Moura would have put the ball on Harry Kane's head? Do you think Bergwijn would? Do you think Emerson Royale would? Like, it couldn't have fallen to a more perfect player.
Bergwijn maybe, but the other ones, no, not at all.
You think Bergwijn maybe? Yeah. Okay.
I think it's gonna depend on tactics, which one of those two gets into the team from week to week. I think the fact of the matter is we know that Son is world class. We know that Kane is world class, which makes them undroppable unless you absolutely have to. If it's a case of them needing a rest, then you bring in a Bergwijn, and that's the sad thing for Bergwijn is that he's competing for positions against players who you just do not want to put on the bench. Week in, week out, you want Son and Kane playing football, and that's going to leave Bergwijn on the bench far more often than on the pitch. Now, as far as Kulusevski is concerned, he hasn't gotten himself into that category yet where he is where he's undroppable, where you absolutely have to play him. I do think, and he offers something entirely different to Moura. Moura offers pace. Moura is going to win you so many fouls in the opponent's third. Moura is going to burst through people at times and be able to pull off a cheeky little pass, short pass to someone, or maybe potentially take a shot on goal. Kulusevski is a totally different thing altogether. Kulusevski is technical. He's got an incredible footballer's brain, and then that passing, and the crossing is sensational. They both offer two completely different things, and so because neither of them are of the ilk of Kane and Son yet, where you literally just you cannot see yourself not playing the two of them. That's a position that's going to be another situation where it's you rotate based on who you're playing against. Yep. If you're playing against a team where you're counter attacking, do you want Kulu playing in a counter attack? Not as much as you want Moura. Absolutely not, because Kulu is not going to be able to sprint. Kulu can't get up the other end of the pitch as fast as Moura can. Not a chance. So it really is going to depend on who we're playing and the tactics of the game. I think as far as the future is concerned, Kulu, I don't think we're even close to seeing the player that he is going to ultimately become. I think he's such an intelligent player, and he's so young that he's going to come on leaps and bounds in the future. And maybe he could even get a few extra yards in as far as his pace is concerned as he trains more with Conte, as his fitness improves, all this kind of stuff. Moura, as much as I was singing his praises once Conte came into the team, because I think Moura was one of the first players to show initiative and actually start to improve significantly under Conte. But at the same time, I think we've seen as close to Moura's ceiling. At the end of the day, he's not going to get significantly better.
Not getting much better.
He could maybe improve in small little ways, tweaks here and there, but he's not going to get much better than he is now. Kulu, I think, is fantastic, and he could significantly improve under Conte as well. So at the moment, I think it's a case of, again, Son and Kane undroppable, and so that puts Bergwijn in the position of having to kind of wait until one of them needs a rest. Whereas Kulu and Moura, I don't think they're competing with each other. I think it's purely based on tactics. Who are we playing? Who do we need more? Okay, put them on.
Yeah, interesting. All right, just before we move on, because there's two more segments of the show tonight, guys. One of them is the Burnley preview, and I'm going to go through some. We haven't really talked about that at all, but I got a whole bunch of statistics. I got a whole bunch of interesting talking points, and then the last thing I want to do is also right at the end of the show. Where am I? I want to show you. This information here. So I want everyone to hang around. Don't go anywhere, guys, because I want everyone's opinion at the right time to talk as we look through the race for Europe of who's left to play for each of the teams we're competing with. We're not going to do that right now, though. Before we get there, Cody, I want to ask you, my friend, Harry Kane. Are you still there, Cody?
Yeah. Am I going to get to speak on Kulusevski at all? Or?
Oh, yeah. Of course you can, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Cody. No, you can take as long as you want. I thought just thought we could move swiftly through everything. But Cody, go for it, Cody. Go. What do you think about Kulusevski, buddy? Is he the real deal? Is he our future new Teddy Sheringham? What do you think of Cody? Well, what do you think of Kulu?
Well, he's a young player. He's a young player who needs an opportunity to show what he's capable of. And I thought, geez, I mean, I agree with Adam in terms of the tactics determining which of Lucas, Bergwijn, or Kulusevski are going to be playing. But I don't agree that Kulusevski is incapable of playing in a counter-attacking team. I mean, it was essentially a counter-attacking style move that led to his goal. You know, all you have to do in order to keep up with a counter-attack is just move a little bit faster than the ball is able to move. And I think Kulu, maybe he doesn't have the top acceleration of a Lucas Moura, but I mean, in terms of what happens in the summertime at this position, Lucas is going to be 30 years old. And I think we've seen enough of him to know what he's capable of. I'm reticent to say it because he's a player that we know fights for the badge and gives 100% every time he's out there. But I think if we're going to be ruthless, we have to sell players while they're still worth something. We can't wait until we no longer love players to get rid of them. We've made that mistake too many times.
Yeah.
And
good point.
Lucas. I can see Lucas having a similar move like Toby Alderweireld had in the summer, where he goes somewhere where he's going to have that kind of.
How old is he now, Cody?
He's going to be 30 in
29.
August.
Oh, he's still got 3-4 years inside of him, isn't he, before he has to do that?
Well,
think
but
he
one
wants to
thing
go back to
about
Brazil,
about a player like
Does he?
a pace merchant like Lucas, that's just one part of professional athleticism that doesn't age as well as others.
Time catches up. Time catches up faster with the speed merchants than it does the technicians, I guess. Right?
It does. Yeah. And I think in the small sample that we've seen Kulusevski so far, I think he's shown that he has a little bit more composure. I mean, that is an ice cold finish to nutmeg Laporte on that goal. And I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I hope we've got a gem on our hands.
I hope so. I love the fact. Listen, you can check the tape for me. It was back in November when I first started doing these channels. The first time Dave of the Irish Hotspur invited me on, I was saying we've got the January window coming up, and this guy Kulusevski, I think, is going to be something good. I've been talking about him. So when we missed out on Diaz and we got him instead, a lot of people were like, "Oh, typical Tottenham, whatever." But I was like, I don't care, by hook or by crook, whatever happened. I'm glad we got this kid. I didn't know much about Bentancur. I hold my hands up, and he looks phenomenal. Like, he's so composed. He's almost too cool for school, because against Man City there was some times in the game, in my opinion, when he got the ball back and he was a little bit too calm when he got caught in possession a few times. But generally, I think he's a breath of fresh air. And we're not going to go back into the midfield conversation about him. But Kulusevski, for me, looks the real deal, and I'm very, very happy we have him.
One other thing I thought that he impacted the game on the defensive end as well, because when you go back to, if you can include the Man City's first goal, the last two goals against Southampton and the two goals that Wolves scored against us, they were all really started in that soft spot of the defense, just on the outside of the corner of the box. And Conte did well to switch us to that flat 5-4-1, and Son and Kulusevski were doing an excellent job closing down that area, which is a difficult area to defend, especially when teams are looking to expose it. So I thought overall, I mean, he had excellent work rate and he was good on both sides of the ball. Definitely something to build on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, great points, Cody. Great points from everybody there. Great points. Right, I do want to move on to. You know what? I'm not sure. Do we need to talk about Harry Kane? There's only one question. There's only one question. Yeah, okay. Well, the one question I have about Harry Kane, before we move on to the Burnley preview, and I want to get through the stats, and then I do want to talk about the top four race. But the one question I have, the one statement I have really about it is, in my opinion, obviously it was a masterclass from him. He was always in the right place at the right time. But what I want to know is, has he proven that there is no sacrifice to him being a goal scorer by asking him to come deep? Like, is that kind of the trade-off? Like the Mourinho thing, when he was asked to come deep in the first 3 months of the season, when Mourinho was here last season, and we ended up with like him having like 10 assists and Sonny scoring 10 goals or whatever it was, until that Liverpool game when suddenly all the wheels fell off of the campaign. Excuse me. But yesterday proved that, I was making the case again previously saying that he could he could play in the kind of 8 role almost. He could come deep against Man City and allow other players to flourish ahead of him. I don't think he played the 8, but he certainly played a very deep 10. And it worked phenomenally well with the first goal. It worked, with all of the goals and the goals that he almost scored but didn't. But he wasn't just coming deep and then leaving it to other people. He came deep, won the ball, made the game changer, and then was there to finish it off. So what I want to figure out with you guys is, and this again kind of goes back to the Harry Winks argument, like, do you need a Harry Winks when you have a Harry Kane who can do everything that Harry Winks does better than him, and he can be there at the end of the move to hit the ball in? And we'll start with Will. Like, how good was Harry Kane? And to the question specifically, like, does it make the argument that you don't have to sacrifice being a goal scorer and also coming deep when you have Harry Kane, as the person you're asking to do that?
Yeah, I mean, he was great on the day. His best performance of the season by far. Am I going to get as hyped up as everybody else? No. But I love Harry Kane. I've always loved Harry Kane. I'm not a person who plays favorites, right? I give it the honest truth.
Is that it?
It was great. It was great performance from him all around. I mean, he had 2 goals.
But can he
midfield play?
Can like, do we need a Harry Winks? Like, if you're going to do the 3-5-2, and we've argued that Harry Winks is only necessary in that role when you're playing 3 midfield, do you need Harry Winks to do it when you've got Harry Kane that can do it? He can come back, he can win the ball like Harry, and he can pass the ball better than Winks, and he can still be on the end of the move and put the ball in the back of the net. Like, is it asking too much of him to do both roles? Has he broken the mold, or is this just a one-off performance against a team that he was trying to, raise his profile against? I feel like what he did was, it kind of changed the game in terms of understanding what you don't necessarily need to sacrifice one thing to get the other. You know what I mean? Am I making sense, Will? I'm not sure. Maybe I'm rambling.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could have him play that kind of 10 role. I think that would definitely be an option. I think you have that option with other people too. I think Kulusevski can slide in there. I think Moore can slide in there as well. He'd be better at it as far as like setting players up, but then you're just kind of losing him in the box, I think. But for me, I mean, I just think that he's a really good player who's been in pretty bad form as of late, but is hopefully back to his old self, and only time will tell.
I think the King is back for sure, man.
Yeah, is that how you feel, Adam?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Can't say for sure.
Kane is back. There's no way. There's no 2 ways about it. You can't see a performance like that against a team like Man City and not say that he is back to the Kane that we remember. The Kane that we all wanted him to be since the start of the season when he was having a bit of a slump. And as far as how deep he plays is concerned, I've always maintained that when Kane can play as well as he plays between the lines, why would you want to just stick him up front? I never thought that was a good idea. Just leave him out front on his own and just kind of try and get the ball to him and try and smash it away. Kane can play Kane is basically able to do the same job as Messi. Do you know what I mean? You don't need him to play up front on his own. You have him play deep. He can pass the ball around players, and then he can also get into the box when he's needed and smash the ball away. I don't see why you wouldn't have him play like if you look at the way Liverpool play as well, their inverted wingers play further forward than their central attacker. So Firmino always plays a little bit deeper than Salah and Mane. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Why can't Kane play a little bit deeper than Son and Moura, for example? Why not? He's able to pick up the ball there and pass to them pretty bloody well, and continue to score as many. You know what I mean? Like last season, he had the most goals and the most assists. Why take that second stat away from him? Why? When he's able to combine with so many players to be setting them up and putting them away himself. It doesn't make any sense to be like, oh no, we should just stick him up front on his own. Why does he constantly have to play deep? Because he feckin' can.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think he's just that good. And to Alex's point, and we'll come to you now, Alex, and then Cody afterwards. To like the point you're saying, Alex, about how you feel about Hojbjerg. Like we're giving credit to Hojbjerg because he's done well amongst a team of midfielders or amongst a team that needs improving in the summer. And I take your point on that, but Hojbjerg isn't necessarily good enough to get us to the top four. And if we get to the top four, he's not going to be. Maybe we need to improve. Hojbjerg shouldn't be our first choice by default, but that's just where we are at the moment. To that point, to that particular type of argument, like, would you think that Harry Kane is just so much better? I know how you felt like you wanted Harry Kane to be sold in the summer, but now we have him. And is Harry Kane just that good that he can do the things that other players should be able to do but can't, and therefore we could ask more of him? Like coming deep and doing certain roles that midfielders should be able to do better than they can do it.
I've got to be careful here because I'm going to end up repeating myself quite a few times with this one, unfortunately. I need to remind people what happened last season. Everyone was saying that we were top of the table and we were scoring those goals, and it was only Kane and Son that scored. And look what happened afterwards. We ended up 7th. Don't need to say anymore, don't I, really? You know what I mean? So, honestly, like, before I say this as well, and I need to correct you on this, Sean. I said the only reason why, and I'm not having a go at you, Sean.
No, it's okay, mate. Go crack on. Do you think?
My issue is that he's outgrown this team. He's outgrown this team.
Harry Kane
knows it as well.
Okay.
He has outgrown this team because he knows that. And the thing is, though, and this is why I argued it, and trust me, oh gosh, I'd love to debate with David on this one. I've got to tell you this for a fact. This is why I kept on saying he's not signed that contract yet because he knows it as well. He knows it. Okay. So the point I make is that when we're talking about Kane, why do you think we don't get a second striker in? Why do you think a second striker doesn't bother to come at Tottenham? Because they know that we talk about Kane so many times, and they know that they're going to be second string all the time because all we're going to talk about is Kane.
Hang on. When are you talking about? Because last season we had Vinicius. Last season we had Gareth Bale. This season, you got players that can play there.
Because we saw what happened when Kane got injured. We didn't do nothing, didn't we? You see what I'm saying? Because we're all focused on Kane. That was it. The point I make is that when are we going to learn that we can't focus our own energy on Kane? It needs to be about the team, and that's it. Simple as that. Teams win championships. You see what I'm saying? And the thing that worries me, what Conte said, he said, "Oh, I'd rather have Kane can play with one leg." And I was
Okay. He did say that. No, he didn't. He said in jest. He said,
I know he's joking, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Kane's first choice, but that's obvious. Kane's always going to start if he's fit.
I mean, before I say this, he was absolutely immense on Saturday. I'm not stupid. He was absolutely fantastic. I did say that he was going to be fantastic anyway. You know what I mean? Manchester City are just silly because they should have got him and Grealish. Who was he on the pitch? No. Oh, great, 100 million spent on him, wasn't it? Anyway, moving on. But this is the point I make. It's like we got to stop focusing on Kane because the fact is he's going to get injured, and then what we're going to do then? You see what I'm saying? We need to focus on the other members of the squad and try and get them to work well as a team and not worry about if Kane's not playing, what we're going to do. Because I know that's going to come up. I
thought the question was more to do with Kane positionally, though, as opposed to should we sell him or not. I wouldn't be.
It wasn't about whether he's the fit for Tottenham. It was just about whether or not he's so good and we're so weak in other areas.
But
to your earlier point, that he can play deeper roles.
It's relevant to your question, though. You're saying that he can play whatever he wants, play deep. For me, that shows that we're going to be over-reliant on him again. And you see what I'm saying? Teams will find that out straight away and think, "Oh, let's just stop Kane." That's what Chelsea did.
Alex, if I was to say to you, if we sell Kane for 150 million, just as an example, during the summer, and we bring in Dybala, Kessie, and Lautaro Martinez, right? Let's just say with that money and whatever extra money we have,
Do it.
from the sales that'll come through from the
Who said do it?
January.
Do
Yeah,
it.
I would do it. I would absolutely do it, right? 100% I would do it, no doubt about it. But the thing is, that's something that we have to wait for the summer to do. So the question is, what do we do with Kane now that he's in the team? He's in the team until the summer. And I'm saying...
You're prophesizing that there's going to be injuries. Who knows? Maybe he gets injured, maybe he doesn't. If he gets injured, just like if Romero gets injured again, all bets are off, right? Our season's over anyway. We've got what we've got, you know?
You got to add David to that list too.
The point,
Martinez,
David,
Kessie, and the other guy.
My point is, it's not about, because the thing is though, he's a great player and he's a great personality. Yes, I agree with you. But the point is that we're too focused on Kane. We're not focused on the whole team. The other members of the squad that need to step up. And it shouldn't be just on Kane, because the fact is, this guy's been going for quite a while now. He's 28 years old. This guy has only got a couple of years left, in my opinion, because he's been going full pelt for quite a while now. You know what happened to Rooney because he started when he was 18. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, though, we've got to look at it and look at it like this. You've got to maintain this guy. You have to maintain this guy. If you're going to get the best out of him, you've got to maintain him. And you need other players to step up as well. So I'm not having a go at Kane because it's not his problem. I've said already a reason why I say, he wants to leave, because he knows he's outgrown this team. By tempo.
I hear your point. I'll take your point, mate. I'll take your point. I'll take everyone's point on it. I do want to move on swiftly because I know that we began 2 hours. The only shows I'm supposed to be 2 hours, but I haven't even got through to any of the things right now that I wanted to get through to. It's amazing how things can get distracted.
Is it because you can't see my face that you don't want my opinion on anything?
No, Cody, I want to come to you first on the next thing. I want you to have the lion's share of the next topic, bro. Unless you want to talk about Harry Kane. Do you want to talk about Harry Kane? I was going to give you the entire Burnley. I was going to give you the entire. Do your Harry?
Hey, I'm giving my points quick. That's all I'm saying.
I'll do.
No, you are. Everyone is. Sorry, Cody.
I understand what Adam's saying about Kane being able to do the role. But Alex is right. In a perfect world, we have a player in midfield who can do the job that Kane is being forced to do. Of course, we're going to be a better team if we can have Kane up top. I would much rather Kane have 30 goals and 4 assists instead of 23 goals and 14 assists, right? As long as the team is getting more points. And I think that's the point that Alex is trying to make. Is Harry Kane amazing at doing both? Yes, he is. But is the team better because we don't have the tools and he's forced to do it? No.
But that is a summer transfer question more so than what do we do with the team right now?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as we have the shortcomings that we have right now, Kane has to do 2 jobs for sure.
Yeah.
Or we play 3 in midfield.
We play 3 in midfield, but we play Kane as one of the 3. I genuinely, I don't understand why we don't play more kind of like I do think that like him playing more like a Firmino or more like a Messi, where he's deeper and he's able to supply, and that you have Son and somebody else as a front too.
Yeah, I agree. Listen. I don't. You know what? I'm going to move on from Kane because it's taken up. It was supposed to be a passing comment, and ended up taking 20 minutes. You know what? I need to get better skilled at managing this stuff. But listen, I want to move on to, and I'm going to come to Cody Mack first, and I'm going to come to Will, and then I'm going to come to Adam, and then I'm going to come to Alex. And I'm going to give out some statistics about Burnley, the Burnley game, some comments about it, and then I want to ask everyone how we're going to smash them. Okay, so against Burnley tomorrow, there's 2 teams that are building on thrilling away wins at the weekend, and they're going to lock horns in the rescheduled Premier League encounter at Turf Moor. Clarets off the back of Brighton of a very strong win, 3-0 against a good team in Brighton. That was their first victory in 11 top-flight matches, right? They will be looking to build on that great performance against a good team that Tottenham have. We have to be very careful. Tottenham, however, just for the statistics, have won 51 of their last 120 games against Burnley in history, losing 41 games. So it's not like we smash them every time. We only get about 35-40% of the victories of all the times we played them. Burnley have won only one of their last top-flight matches against Tottenham, and that was a 2-1 win against us at their place in February of 2019. Tottenham have failed to score in just one of their last 14 matches against Burnley. That was a 0-0 draw in 2015. And Burnley have been pretty poor this season, scoring only 20 goals. They're the lowest in the division after only Norwich, who have scored 15 goals. But Dyche's side have a fairly impressive home record defensively, having shipped only 10 goals on their own patch in the league. And they boast the best defensive record in the bottom half by far. And that's probably going to be tested tomorrow, hopefully, right? So Tottenham can temporarily leapfrog Arsenal and Wolverhampton Wanderers into 6th with all 3 points as we try and get onto the top 4, try and get back into the top 4 race. And as far as what Conte's had to say about it, he's saying, I also have the possibility, if all of the players are available, to make some rotation, given a bit of rest, to give some players a bit of rest, which the players need, especially the midfielders. For example, I quote, the midfielders against Manchester City, Pierre and Rodrigo, they put in a fantastic performance. They ran a lot and the effort was top. We have to see if they recover well. Otherwise, I will have to make rotations because we have many games in a row in a few days and we have to try every moment to find the best solution. So, guys, and I'm going to come to Cody first. On the back of that information I've just dropped, I dropped it very fast. First question is on the basis of rotation, right? Like we got Leeds 3 days after this game. We got Middlesbrough 72 hours later. I think actually 48 hours later. Do you expect any changes amongst those 3 games? Where do we make the changes? Do we make the changes tomorrow? Do we make them against Leeds? Or do we put our best 11 out on both of those and kind of go with a weaker team in the FA Cup? How would you, if you were the manager, if you were Conte, Cody, how do we go about managing our squad, knowing that from what it's worth, I think Reguilon's still not fit for tomorrow, and neither is Skippy, and neither is Tanganga. What's your thoughts?
I mean, it's a difficult scenario to find yourself in with these midweek games that we're having to make up after all the COVID postponements back in December and January. And, the Arsenal postponement, which was not COVID related. But anyways, I think this is a game that you should be looking to rotate. One thing that Conte has done since he's come in is he has done what most managers have promised to do when they come in, and that is give everyone a fair shot to stake their claim to game time. And you can make cases. Yes, there's been some bad performances, especially from the likes of Ben Davies and Harry Winks and Davinson Sanchez. But there's also been some very good performances from those players. And let's face it, we cannot rely on 11 players to play the rest of the games if we're going to continue to compete in the FA Cup and have more than 1 game per week for the rest of this year. So I think Burnley, listen, we've had a real tough time. I think we've conceded 10 goals in the last 5 games. So I think if we're going to go in there and we're going to beat Burnley at Turf Moor, we need to be focused on maintaining a clean sheet. This is not the same Burnley side as before the transfer window. This striker that they've brought in from Germany, Weghorst, awesome. He does not look out of place one bit in the Premier League, and he's a very versatile player and a very tall player, and we know how we struggle with set pieces. So it's difficult because Burnley are going to set up in a similar manner that we set up against Manchester City. They're going to defend. They're going to defend stoutly. They're going to be compact, and they're going to be difficult to break down. This is the type of team that we have struggled with for multiple years now. So if we can keep a clean sheet and rely on our quality to take care of business, that gives Conte the opportunity to rotate, and I think he'll take advantage of it.
Interesting. I appreciate that, Cody. Will, to you, Cody mentioned Wout Weghorst, right? He's 6'5", 6'6". I don't know how he's about as tall as you are, right? We'd love to have you in the
2 centimeters taller than me. Yeah.
We'd love to have you there to defend it. But you know what? He doesn't look necessarily like he's only a good guy in the air. From what I see, he's very gifted with his feet. He's like a Peter Crouch, swift of foot, pretty handy with the ball on the floor.
He's not as lanky as Peter Crouch.
Well, listen, I mean, he's obviously the danger man. He took a massive knock against the Seagulls. He did battle through the match, but he did open the scoring against the Clarets. And both him and Maxwell Cornet are both expected to start again. So I know that Dyche is waiting on the news about defender James Tarkowski and midfielder Ashley Westwood. But how do we keep Weghorst, however you say his name? How do you keep him in the pocket? Is it the role, or how do you keep him in someone's pocket? He seems to drop a little bit deep and fit and kind of sit in the hole between the midfielders and the defenders. Do you put that responsibility on a Bentancur, on a Hojbjerg? Do you give it to a Dyer, or how do you keep him quiet? Because I think most of the danger is going to come through him if he's fit. He did take a big knock, so if he's fit, how do we keep him quiet?
I think it's got to be a Dyer Hojbjerg thing, or not Dyer Hojbjerg, Dyer Bentancur type of a deal. Bentancur is tallest in the midfield. Hojbjerg's a little bit stronger. But strength usually, like big, tall guys tend to be big as well, right? Peter Crouch being the exception to that, right? Like they tend to have a little bit more meat on their bones because the skeleton requires that. So I think that it's really just a matter of we have to win the midfield battle, and we have to make sure. Like more of my worry is going to come off of that their left wing, so our right defensive side, and Emerson. Keeping them from being able to cross the ball in, because that's where the balls are going to come from. That's where the danger is in the air. Some crosses coming from outside the box. So the threat's going to be there, and we already know that we're real tend to be a threat to letting crosses leak into the box that shouldn't. So, but that's where it's at. But I mean, as far I don't. We have to win this, so I have to be confident, and I have to put up score.
Are you confident? Are you confident on it?
I have to be. It's a must-win match for us. If our top four hopes are going to continue, it's a must-win match to win our games in hand. This is one of those games in hand. We have to win all three of them, and so to really have a good shot at it. So I'm just going to say, just like the world-renowned statistical site Who Scored, the same number of tackles that Hojbjerg had, we're going to beat him 3-2.
Wow, you're not letting that one go, are you, Will? You're not letting it go.
No, I can't. The truth is the truth. I don't make things up.
Listen, I think for what it's worth, I think
how I slid it in there. You gotta.
No, I get it. No, I love David to pieces. But I think there was a clarity, a different. It's easy to differentiate between duels and tackles. So, I think on this one particularly, you were probably on the right side of the fence.
FB ref, Silva score, Who Scored, doesn't matter. 3. That's what it is.
It's all okay. Well, he's all good either way. Hojbjerg had a good game, regardless of whether he did.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter as long as it is what it is. As long as we both say. For me, I would just say, "Oh, my bad, I looked at it wrong." 3. That's what it is. Cool, right? Yeah.
All right. Well, I can't. Yeah, it's fine. Adam, I come to you, mate. Listen, so on the basis of what we've heard, right? But I want to point out as well, like Westwood, Collins, they're all the wrong side of 30. Aging players, they struggle with pace, and they definitely struggle being turned. How do we capitalize tomorrow? If all three of those are players, one of them is a centre back, 2 of them are midfielders. I think all 3 of them look like they're going to start. They're all 31, 32, 33 years old. They're not going to enjoy certain players playing against them, running at them. Is this one that Kulusevski gets dropped for? Like, how do we take advantage of the aging midfield? How do we go at them? This to Will's point, right? It's 3 points. We can't do what we did against Man City and then fuck up tomorrow, right? So how do we do it? And like I say, there's three players there that are over the age of 30, well into the sunset of their careers. How do we take advantage of that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't think we play the same strategy as we do against Man City. I certainly don't think. I have no idea what we'll do as far as the actual lineup is concerned, because of the fact that we don't know what the story is with who's available. And in the midfield, we only have so many options. What I will say is, I would imagine we'll play the exact same back three because that's our strongest back three. And if we don't want to concede against Burnley, then we're going to need Romero, Dyer, and Davis doing their usual thing. But we definitely need to be playing more attacking football. We played a 5-4-1 against Man City. And we were hoping to catch them on the bounce. It wasn't exclusively counter-attacking football, but we definitely played considerably more defensively. That can't happen against Burnley because we have to break them down. They have one of the strongest defense records in the league, conceding the least amount of goals, one of the least amount of goals. So therefore, it's essential that we're going to break that down. We're not going to break that down if we sit back and do nothing. We have to take it to them. And so I have every faith in our back three to maintain the defensive line against them. And it will be a case, I think, of going back to that 3-4-3 where we have more of an attacking mindset. But as far as who the players are going to be, maybe it'd be an idea to bring in Mora again. A lot of people were saying in the comments that Kulusevski's able to play in the counter as well. No, I don't disagree. All I'm saying is that if you absolutely need the pace, Mora is the one to bring in because he's the fastest player on the team. I used to always argue that Sonny was because Sonny's my boy, but in fairness, even Sonny says Mora's faster than him. So if Sonny says it, okay, fine. So yeah, if you want that, want that pace, you know what I mean? If you want that pace, it's going to have to be Mora on the right, Sonny on the left, and outside of that, I don't know what changes will be made if we want to start rotating anybody. But all I'll say is I trust that even though, and I listen to the We Are Tottenham TV lads who I love dearly. They think that Burnley probably posed more of a threat to us than City.
Wow,
City did. Just purely based on their defense and the fact that Sean Dyche is well trained in his relegation battles.
Smash and grab stuff. This
is his forte. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think that they're not unlockable. And I as far if anyone is going to break them down, there's no reason why it can't be us, especially with coming off the back of a performance like we had against Man City. We're confident, we know we're sharp, we know what we're capable of doing. If it is Bentancur and Hojbjerg back again in the center of the pitch again, they will be able to keep the control. And again, it's a case of we've got three solid attackers, with Son, Kane, and whoever it is on the right, that we'll be able to tear them down, and all we have to do is do our utmost for our best back three to not to concede. But I think it's as for the taking. I think Will is right. I think it's because they're in a relegation battle, but we are fighting for top four, and it's what Conte really wants, and the boys are fighting for him, and I think they'll do it.
Love that, mate. Love that. It's good insight. It's interesting about that. Is Burnley a tougher challenge, Alex? Is Burnley a tougher challenge? Obviously on paper, no. Man City, smash every player on Burnley's team in half on paper. But it's a whole nother game, a whole nother test, right? Burnley, they off the back of a 3-0 win against Brighton. Brighton and no mugs. And I know you like Brighton. I know you support Brighton, or not support Brighton, but I know you like their the way that they play football, and Burnley smashed them to pieces the other day. So, talk me through it. Like, how worried are you? How important is it? Obviously, I think we all agree it's a 6-pointer for them. It's probably a 6-pointer for us, in as much as it means everything, right? It's 3 points on the day, but if we don't do it, then our top four hopes are over. Talk me through what you think it's going to take for us to beat them.
I think it's a case of just using possession well. Playing our game in terms of and movement. That's the most important thing as well. I'm not so worried about top four because I've told you why. I've told you my thoughts on that. I've said that we're not going to do it, and that's just my thoughts on that anyway. I think the main thing is that we've got to use possession much better than we have before. Really, it's the same way that we used it against Manchester City in certain times. I think we need to do the same, basically. I think you can maybe afford maybe to play the same team. I know people
Same
say
team.
that. Yeah, I know that people will say that Hojbjerg's in that team still, and I don't like him. But I mean, at the moment, I think you have to say that team deserves more chance. In the next game, I think. And then the next game we'll see what happens from there. Really, seeing what people's fitnesses is like as we go on, basically. But I think the main thing for me is that you need movement. You need movement. You need people getting into space, using the ball well, passing well at the back. And I think with the formation that we've got, I think that could happen. I think that's going to be well suited to us playing against Burnley. I think we also have to be very good, in terms of maybe transitions as well, because they haven't got the most paciest of backline, I think, as well. So you can try and get through them doing that as well. I think Kane won't have that much of a success, I would say. So it really is a case of other players stepping up. So yeah, I think that's what is needed in this game. And yeah, we need to play to the end like we did in the Leicester game and the Manchester City game as well. Because it might be a last minute winner that we need to get through as well, to be honest.
You think it's last minute? Hopefully, well, we did it before, didn't we? A couple of seasons ago, Super Vertonghen. What was his first name? Jan Vertonghen.
Yeah, Super Jan.
I'm having like a fucking mental blank there. I was like, that didn't sound right. Yang Vertonghen didn't sound. Anyway, guys, listen. Last question of the day. There's still 40 people in the house. Appreciate everyone stopping by. I want you to hang on for this one because I want to ask all the 5 guys in the chat in the panel. I'm going to bring up my little thing here, and I hope you can all appreciate the effort I've gone to give everyone colour coordination because it's important. All right, but I want to figure out, and I'm going to go through everyone. I'm going to ask them all individually. I'm going to go through every single thing, but I want you all to be just kind of if you can get a pen and paper out and have a little think about this. So, from what I did, where's my little notes? Here we go. Right, so you can. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I've done some rudimentary maths, looking at what it took to get top 4, 4th place spot over the last 20 years. In 2002, it took 71 points to finish top 4. 2003, 67. And I've gone through every single one of them. And essentially the range, the lowest of all of them was in 2004. It only took 60 points to finish 4th. And in 2014, it took 79 points to finish 4th. The average, I was always wondering why Alex was so quick to always just say 70 points is top 4. And it turns out that the average over the last 20 years to finish 4th is 69.4 points. So 70 points. We're going to go with Alex's number. 70 points is what it's going to take. And Tottenham at the moment, if I just, excuse me. We played 23, we've got 39, right? So we need 30 points, 31 points from 15 games. So we need to win 10 games. Right? If we win 10 games or if we win 11 games, that should be enough. Now, I've got all of the games that all of our rivals have to play against. I don't know if everyone's got the time it takes just to go through this, or we could just do it kind of as ad hoc. Where do you see? Can you find 11 wins or 10 wins and a couple of draws? So you think 70?
The only game that I think we can't stand to win is like Liverpool away. Liverpool at Anfield is almost certainly a battering, whereas the rest of them, I don't see any reason why we can't win them all. We won't win them all, but I don't see there's no team there apart from Liverpool that I'm like, yeah, that we may as well throw that away.
2 draws, 1 loss, and the rest wins. 77 points.
It's true.
Okay, hang on. So wait. I'll come to each of you individually. So Will, you're saying 2 draws, 1 loss. Is the 1 loss Liverpool?
Man United draw, West Ham draw, lost Liverpool. The rest are wins. That gives us 77 points.
Holy shit. 77 points would only not have been enough in 1 year, 2014. So I'm going to write this down because I'm actually going to make this
I'd
into a
take
little
that.
chart. 77 points. Cody.
Well, I mean, you're looking at this list, you don't see Chelsea and you don't see City on it, which is nice. But we do have to go to Anfield. We do have to go to Old Trafford. We do have to play West Ham and Arsenal still, who are also in this race. It's not going to be easy, that's for sure. And I think of the teams in this race, obviously we have the least amount of points, the most games in hand. But I think we may be more susceptible than these other teams to a key injury. You know, if we lose one of Kane or Son or Romero,
or Lloris,
even Bentancur at this point, you know, like we're very flimsy. We don't have a ton of depth, as we'll happily tell you in terms of the balance of the squad. So I think we need luck if we're going to get that fourth spot for sure. But one thing I will say, of these teams, we've got the best manager, and that's a huge deal. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I mean, it's nice not to see Chelsea or Man City on that list. That's for sure.
We also have the easiest run of games. If you actually look at what the other four teams have got to come up against, let's
talk about that, Adam. Right, so Arsenal have still got to play us, obviously, away. That's yet to be. The date is TBC. They've got to play Chelsea away. TBC. That's also TBC. They've got to play Man United at Arsenal. They've got to play Liverpool at home.
They got to play Leicester at home. I mean, like, the thing is,
and Southampton's not an easy game either, is it? And we're done with Southampton as well. Like, Southampton suddenly have come into this raging and out of form. They're not going to be looking at the table thinking that they can't finish in the top six. Southampton,
Arsenal finished with 69 points.
I also think that the fact that Arsenal...
Will's figured it out already. He's done his maths. So that's why he's the COO.
I think that the fact that Arsenal have pissed us and Chelsea off by postponing games as well, I think that's going to be to their detriment. I think they're going to live to regret that for the fact that, you know, there was no need for them to call off the game with us, and I think we're going to come back with a vengeance. I think it's going to be a sledgehammer.
Okay, I love that. So you guys are super positive. Like, let's talk about Wolverhampton. Wolves are 1 point ahead of us. They played a game more than us. They've still got Arsenal. They're playing Arsenal, I think, tomorrow. Is that tomorrow or is that tonight?
I mean, I haven't even had my answer yet. I mean,
I know, Alex. I'm coming to you now.
Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts? Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't really see the point of even looking at this until April. And I'm trying to say this in a respectful way. I should say it in a respectful way because we made a massive effort of putting this together. The fact is, we ain't getting 70 points. That's a fact. I don't even know Arsenal are in the conversation because they're not even in the conversation. I don't even need to worry about them because I just need to see Mikel Arteta and that's it. They're done. They're out of here. So let's not go there with Arteta.
Okay, interesting.
It's Man United to lose as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? We're not.
But you know what? But Manchester United have only got 6 games left. 12 games left, and 6 of those 12 are against top 6 teams.
Man United are going to absolutely get destroyed.
It doesn't matter. The point is, Tottenham are not consistent enough to get top 4. You see what I'm saying? And even if they were getting top 4, you're going to have to massively improve next season to contain that at the moment. At best, 6th. At best, 6th.
This is a race for Europe, not the race for top 4. This is just a race for Europe. I haven't put top 4 on it.
Well, even if you're talking about Europe, if we get Europa League, the thing that was good about Manchester City win, it said to me, FA Cup's a possibility. FA Cup's a possibility right now.
Yeah.
Because if you play like that in a one-off cup game. In loads of those other games, you've got a chance in that FA Cup. I'm a bit wound up because Europa Conference League should have been ours this season.
Yeah, I agree.
Europa League sorted straight away. But my point is that this team is not good enough, and even Conte says it as well. So I'm not trying to copy him. He's saying the same thing I'm saying. So,
but Alex, just think about top 4, right? West Ham have got 12 games left, and they've got to play Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City. They've still got 5 and Wolves, right? So they've got 5 of the top 7 left to play. Manchester United have got 12 games left, and they've got to play Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. They've still got six goals. Half of their games are against top 6 opposition. We've only got 3 teams left to play that are top 6. We've only got Manchester United. We've only got Liverpool and Arsenal. That's it. I know we've got games in hand.
Arsenal.
I think we're gonna absolutely smash Arsenal. I think we will. So, like, of the 6 teams, in terms of we've got a couple of games in hand, and a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. But do you not concede that Man United, West Ham, and Arsenal have got more difficult games than we have on paper to play against? And if we can stay injury free, you don't think that we can? You don't think that we can do it?
That's a very good question. But for me, I don't look at I don't just look at the fixtures. I look at the situation that you're in, how it is. Because the thing is, though, momentum can change very, very easily over time. You see what I'm saying? We're only in February at the moment.
Yeah.
Until April, you can see what sort of points tally you progressively could get. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I'm not really talking about this at the moment, looking at these fixtures and thinking, oh, that looks really good. Oh, that looks really good. That looks really good. Because until then, you don't know what's going to happen with that team. You see what I'm saying? You don't know. Things can completely change until then anyway. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I think I'm at this of the mindset of I'm just taking it at next game and that's it, and see how it goes. And the fact is, the good thing is at the moment, even though I'd rather be in Europe, to be fair, I know it's a Conference League, but I'd rather be in Europe. He's got a week with these players. I know at the moment we've got our fixtures at the moment, but he's got a week with these players. After a week previously, look what's happened. Look at that final goal that we scored. Look at that final goal.
Yeah. Things are coming together, right? Things are coming together.
Things are coming together. Now, for me, if that's what happens, and we become more closer as a team, and we get Europa League, that's a good thing for me. I don't really care about Champions League, because as far as I'm concerned,
it's progress. Yeah, I know.
I don't care about.
There's a lot of people out there that say I heard someone on. I forget who it was on. It might have been Jason Cundy on TalkSport saying, even if Tottenham get top 4, they'll be the most embarrassing team in the Champions League next season because
I need to finish on this point, Sean.
Sorry, man. Sorry. Crack on.
No, don't need to apologise. If we get into Europa League next season with Conte in charge, and I'm not saying I love him because I think he's, I've got to be objective, but with the fact that he's the way he is, you've got a chance of winning that and get into Champions League. And look at that, making a message to Kane next season. You see what I'm saying? You see, so this is the point I make. It's like,
okay, so you've written off top 4. So you're looking at that then, top 6. If top 6 is easier than top 4, there's only going to be you got Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, right? So of these teams, you've got 5 teams that are going from 4th down to 8th, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Can Tottenham finish in the top 6?
Yeah, 100%.
But they can't.
Mathematically, according to the teams and the runouts that these teams have, unless these 4 teams beat the top 3, none of them have a mathematical run to even hit 70 points, really, if you want to be honest. Even if you're generous, none of them. Even if you sit there and you say we lose to Man United, West Ham, Liverpool, and Arsenal, we still end out with 72 points, and the best the Arsenal could do would be 72. So all it would come down to is goal differential then for top 4, much less.
It's an interesting thing. Well, it's an interesting thing, right? So of the last 20 years that I counted up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 10 of those 20 seasons did you have to get 70 points to finish top 4. The other 10 you could have had 69 points or less and still finish top 4.
Yeah, so I'm predicting Arsenal might get 69. You're looking at Wolves would be around 69, Man United at 67, and then I got West Ham finished at the bottom of those at 65.
Did you do this just now, or did you do this already? No, I love the fact that when I said, have you got a pen and paper, and you went away and figured that stuff out. It's fantastic.
Excel, really easy.
And then the first time any of these teams does what we did and only takes 1 point off Southampton across 2 games, all those predictions go out the window.
Right, but
right?
I'm saying they have that chance as well. Especially looking at Man United, they could draw against Brentford, right? The way they're playing now, right? You know what I'm saying? But I gave them 3 points for that. So just going off the highest abductive argument of probability, right? It is more likely that Tottenham will break.
What a word! What a fucking word from you, Will.
Will break 70 points than anybody else.
Listen,
I love it.
Love it, Will.
Listen, by default, we've got a chance because Man United are completely, just completely going off the boil. Let's get it right. We have got a chance, but
you just said 6. You just said 6 if we're lucky.
No. I have to put some context into what I'm saying. We have got a chance. So I'm not going to say that, because the fact is, I mean, look, when you look at the teams, and I can't mention West Ham's name, so I'm not going to even go there with West Ham because I can't stand them. So I'm not going to mention their name.
They've still got Europe, right? When that team in the claret and blue, they've still got Europe, haven't they? Am I wrong?
Yeah, they have. But
yeah,
I mean,
and Man United have still got Europe, and Arsenal haven't, Wolves haven't, right?
Yeah,
so
I mean, for one thing, I definitely want to be above West Ham. That was embarrassing last season. That was embarrassing for me. That hurt. That hurt. Leicester winning the FA Cup last season and West Ham being above us. That hurt. That really hurt. That stung for me. So, I mean, if it comes down to us getting top 4 and West Ham not getting top 4. Tottenham every single time, bro. Every single time. You know what I mean? I'm not going to worry about Banter FC at Arsenal. No, forget that.
Okay, so Alex, who's your prediction? Like, so I'll go. So I know Will thinks that Tottenham are going to finish 4th, right? From your predictions, Will, on the point scores, you've got Tottenham first, and it doesn't matter after that of these. Like, let's go through it. Alex, you said that Tottenham won't finish 4. You think we can finish 6, but who do you think is going to be better? Who do you think is going to finish above Tottenham? Looking at that running,
Manchester United.
Okay.
I think we've got a chance of getting 5th. Yes, 5th. I should have said maybe 5th, but I mean that's always a difficult one. 5th,
can I run this out with Alex real quick?
Yeah, crack on.
Okay, do you think Man United is going to beat City? Yes or no?
They can.
Do you think they will? Away?
I think they can.
Man City away?
Yeah, I think they will. Yeah, I think they can.
Think they will? Yes, no, maybe.
Well,
Man United at the Emirates.
Hypothetical. You asking me hypothetical questions. I don't really care about Manchester United, but my point is, I'm looking at Tottenham at the moment. I'm not focused on them. I just say to you,
but I'm saying you have to look at both though. You can't just look at look at Tottenham though.
Yeah, but no, but I can because
no, you can't. If you say that
I can because look.
No, it's not in a vacuum. We don't play in a vacuum. Okay,
look at our development. Looking at our development at the moment, Conte's just come in the door, right? We are not at the moment consistent enough. So for me, we can get top 4, yes, but in terms of how it's going to affect us next season, I think we're going to struggle next season because I think we're going to have to change that team a huge amount to cope with next season.
If we get into the Champions League, position, then we have more cheese to supply for players coming in.
I worry
during the window,
because
right?
we were in the Champions League
what
final.
we're talking about is the Europe race. That's all we're talking about. Whatever happens next season is next season.
Not worried about next season. I'm talking about the mathematical probability of who.
Yeah, I said already. I said to you already that we could get top 6. Maybe 5th.
Then you said we'll ask you which teams would beat will supersede us, and then he asked you will Man United beat City, and then you didn't want to answer the question.
No, I did. I did.
You think Man United right now can beat City at the Etihad? I'm sorry, it's not. They're not beating Liverpool at the Clough either.
Look at the players that they've got. Will look at the players.
Maybe Chelsea. I'm just saying, even with the players that they have, look at the players Man City has. Man City has a better squad than United does. Liverpool has a better squad than United does.
Chelsea.
There's no chance.
There's no way they're getting sick. They're getting 3 points at it. Maybe a draw if they're lucky at some of those places. If they're lucky.
Alex, essentially, mate, like if we were looking at this same screen 72 hours ago and Man City was the next thing that on top of the Tottenham list, like nobody would have given us, we would have all written down 0 points against Manchester City. Of course, things happen. There's anomalies, there's crazy results, but you can't factor in maybes. You have to go, when you're looking at predictions, you have to go like, of course, Burnley might maybe smash us 8-0 tomorrow. It shouldn't happen. It probably won't happen, but it might happen. But there's no point in working in the mights. We're trying to figure out, looking at this, what our predictions should be. Of course, we're not going to get them spot on. Of course, there's going to be, exceptions to the rule. So do you think that Manchester City at home is 3 points to Manchester City on 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 times that they play? Or do you think that Manchester United are going to get something from the game? Of course, they may get something from the game, whether or not we're right or wrong. But what does your gut tell you? My
gut tells me. Gut tells me that they will get something. They will get something.
If they draw or they beat City.
I think a draw.
I'm saying there's other teams that they're gonna drop to as well. But let's just say, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they win out the rest of their matches and only lose 3 of their next totals 13, right? Or 12. 3 of their next 12, right? Then they can only hit 73 points. If we do lose 3 of our next 15, we end it with 75 points. They can't catch us.
But that's very hypothetical, Will, though.
It's not hypothetical. It's called probability.
You can say probability. You can talk about probability, but at the end of the day, you talk about Tottenham Hotspur. At the end of the day, we haven't got top 4 for quite a while now. You know what I mean? So as far as I'm concerned at the moment,
we've also got the easiest run of games.
Yeah, we can say whatever. Easiest run of games. Easiest run of the games doesn't really matter. It only matters when you've got
bookies will find us favorites in all but 3 of those 15 matches.
Pardon?
Bookies will find us favorites in all but 3 of those matches.
Well, I know that, but bookies are that's
they make their living off of odds,
bookies can make their own predictions, whatever they want to do. As far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at it from my point of view at the moment. Okay,
bookies win more than
we are still developing. Still, as far as I'm concerned, Manchester United have already got top 4 already. They've already know how to do it. As far as I'm concerned, so do we. They've got the players to do it as well.
4 or 5 years in a row.
So yeah, they've done it. They've done it already. They've got the pedigree to do it already. So as far as I'm concerned, they will still go at it. They'll beat us because I know that they get the luck against us, unfortunately. Okay, right. So so
who gets the luck against
United? I gave United the win against us. I think they
all win us.
I don't think United got the luck against us, and we can beat them 6-1.
Yeah,
we know why we beat us. You know why we beat them 6-1 though, Adam. You know why we beat them.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right?
Because of Son and Kane. You know why. You know why.
We still have Son and Kane,
honestly, if you didn't see that, I mean, honestly, it was like it's.
Yeah, but we still have. To Will's point, we still have those players.
And you're talking about luck as well, though. Like it wasn't luck that we beat them 6-1, and they weren't lucky then.
Well, they did have a sending off, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
No. We should have had a sending off. We should have had Lamela sent off, but we didn't.
We were still winning 2-1 before the sending off even happened. Right. It's after the sending off that the wheels fell off. They had a better squad on us on paper then too. How many times do you see somebody get sent off and get smacked 6-1? It doesn't happen.
I will concede this. We have got a chance. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to say that we haven't got a chance. We have got a chance. Whether I'm gonna go really mad if we don't get top 4, I'm not gonna go mad, no, because I think at the moment I think I look at the bigger picture. Conte's not coming in because he wants Champions League. I'm not being funny, he isn't. He wants championships. He's already said it already. He said it in press conferences loads of times. So for me, I'm thinking like Conte, because I actually moved on from Pochettino. Just so for some people that think I still think about Pochettino to them, but but this is the thing, So yeah, it's just that's the way I'm looking at it. You know, I'm looking
You
at
do
the
know
bigger
that to win a
picture.
championship, you have to finish in the top 4, right?
Pardon?
To win a championship, you have to finish in the top 4, right? To win the league, you have to finish in the top 4.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
Okay.
But we're talking about fourth place, though, aren't we? We're not talking about third place, aren't we?
That's next
We're
year.
just talking about fourth place. And getting to fourth isn't winning a championship.
One of the arguments you used as well, Alex, was that like we're still in the middle of a rebuild. That's absolutely true, and not a single person has denied that. We are in the middle of a rebuild, and we're looking to have a stronger team next season. But we're still looking at ultimately how you define whether or not a team has the potential and has the likelihood to get where they're going is based on what's laid out in front of us for the remainder of this season, and are we able to rise up to the challenge based on where we're at now, not based on the fact that we do need a rebuild. Yes, we absolutely do, and with a rebuild we will hopefully do much more than just fourth place next season. But can we get to fourth now? We're the most likely to do it. You're saying that there's a chance. We have the highest chance, the biggest chance of those 5 teams.
Right. Yeah, that's all I'm saying is that Tottenham on paper, mathematically, when you look at if you were to go on to, I don't know, any FPL website where they rate the difficulty of the fixtures, and you were to drop, and you say every red fixture that's on that list, you give a 0 for those teams, Tottenham would then finish 4th. That's all I'm saying. Right.
Yeah.
Based on that probabilities. If you give 3s and greens, 1s and whites, and 0s and reds, Tottenham finishes 4th.
And the only thing that would affect that is injuries. If we did get injuries to Son and Kane, then that would change the statistics for sure. But at the moment, the way things stand, we're in.
And of course, it's important to So first of all, guys, just and I really appreciate everyone that's been on the chat tonight, the panel tonight. I'd love you guys to come back as we go through the rest of the season, and I'll update this. Right, I'll update the little banner here with how many we've got, who's left, and we can use this as a template to figure it out. Of course, there's going to be anomalies, to Alex's point, but of course there's going to be. If you're trying to look at predictions, I know it's very early in the run-in, but ultimately you only have what you have to go on, which is your instinct and form and history. And I feel like on paper, a bird in the hand's worth 2 in the bush, which is why you might give a little bit more love to these teams. But actually, I think that Tottenham, I think they have the easiest run-in on paper, and we can come back, but I think that it's important to point out that most of the time, this last run-in is going to be decided by how we do is going to be decided by how we played this game here against Manchester United. Oh, you can't even see my mouse, but the Manchester United game away is going to be important. The Arsenal game at home is going to be super important, right? And West Ham as well.
If we beat any of the teams that we're going up against,
that's key. If we lose to Manchester United, if we lose to West Ham at home, and if we lose to Arsenal whenever that game is rescheduled, then all bets are off. If we can, if we can draw against those teams,
mathematically, even if we lose those matches to finish above them, But I just say it would make it a lot more difficult. But we basically need 34 points. I think we need.
We don't lose against Arsenal at home. That's not going to happen.
Not
going to happen. We are better than Arsenal. It's a little bit better than Arsenal. I have to say that with context, we are a little bit better than Arsenal. But Arsenal not worried. There's nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing to worry about. They've even given away their best striker away to Barcelona.
So who is it? So who are you worried about then? Are you worried about Wolves, Alex?
I'm worried about Manchester United.
Okay, is that
Wolves,
it? Is it?
Wolves are one of them as well. I can't say West Ham's name, whether or not they're
West Ham
or
has the
not.
hardest run.
I can't say West Ham's name because I can't stand them. But yeah.
So what do we want from this game? This game, is it tomorrow night? Wolves against Arsenal.
Win. No,
Wolves Arsenal.
Wolves need to win.
We want Wolves to win that game, do we?
Wolves to win, yeah.
Listen, I think a draw would be better, but to be fair, I don't think we should worry about their results. Like I said to you before, when you look at some of the Arsenal will mess up because they're not a good. They're okay as a team, but they're not good enough. They're not good enough.
Wolves have less games available.
I've got an Arsenal fan is my brother, and he can't stand. He knows that they're not getting top four anyway. So I mean, if he's telling me this, and I don't need to say that much anyway, because I know that from just watching them anyway. So
I'd rather have. Yeah, sorry. I'd rather have Wolves. I feel like Wolves are like they're too naive, too immature in their own progression. I'd rather see Wolves beat Arsenal. I'd happily, I don't care about West Ham. I think West Ham are done anyway, but I'd like to see Wolves and West Ham draw. And if Wolves can take points from Arsenal, then everything's back on for us. Like I'll be rooting for Wolves all day long on their game against Arsenal.
And mathematically too, in order for the numbers to work out in our favor, because Wolves have one more game. We have one more game in on Wolves. We're even on games with Arsenal. That would put Wolves at 43. That would leave Arsenal at 42, and that would put, if we beat Burnley, that puts us at 42 as well. So they're only 1 point ahead of us.
But it does put the 7th, not 6th, though, because of the goal difference.
Yeah, 100%.
We might need 5th if you want Europa League football. You might need 5th because you don't know who's going to win the FA Cup if they're in Champions League or Europa League next season.
We're going to win the FA Cup, mate. We're going to win the FA Cup, so that's irrelevant. Don't even worry about that. We're going to win the FA Cup.
Sean, I've already said we've got a chance in the FA Cup. I've said it already. So you know, after that game against Man City, that for me just said to me, we've got a chance. You know what I mean? If we play like that against any other team, and it doesn't matter about how much possession you've got, because if you use the possession that we did like against Man City, you know, you've got a really good chance as far as I'm concerned, because you're clinical. That helps you tenfold in the FA Cup, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how you play.
It does.
So
100% it does. We've got to avoid Chelsea. I don't want to see us playing Chelsea anymore this season.
Listen, I think we need to stop worrying about Chelsea and start to take them on. As far as I'm concerned, you know what I mean? If we want to be a decent team, we're gonna have to take on these teams. You know what I mean? We can't be afraid of teams. You know what I mean? So, you know, the main thing is that we need to have more movement, and that's what we did against Man City in small parts. And that goal, right, is similar to what we saw Crystal Palace Brighton. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I want Tottenham to be doing all the time, consistently doing that most of the time, using the ball better. You know what I mean? Maybe playing the Tottenham way, but, you know, playing it in a way that, you know, looks like we're not afraid of teams. You know what I mean? Because that's when people will start taking note. You know what I mean? And, you know, stop being afraid. And Bergwijn needs to step up as well. You know, Moore needs to step up. The whole team needs to step up. And that's it, really. And I'm going to be hard with them because that's my team. You know what I mean? And that's the way
we love you, man. We love you, Alex. So we love your opinions, bro, because you do come at it from a different perspective. And I, for one, absolutely respect your opinions, man. I appreciate you coming on. And I know that you get people that challenge you, and I'm in the chats that you're in. I know you get a hard time, bro, but I love the fact that you stand by your opinions, and everyone's opinions are just their opinions. So, man, I stick with it, man, and I want you to come on. I want all of you guys to come back on as we go through this again. Cody, you've been super quiet on mute. Before I kind of round off here, because we've been going for 3 hours, man, is there anything you haven't said about the formations, or about not the formations, about the top four that you want to chime in on, bro? You've been very quiet. I appreciate your involvement, but you know you haven't had much of a chance. So anything you'd love to say, bro?
Look, Tottenham in the driver's seat. We all know what that means. Listen, I think this team can get top four. Just don't ask me to put any money on it. And that's what I'll finish on.
Where do you think we end up then?
I think probably 6th or 5th.
Okay.
I agree with Alex. I think United. This is the worst form that we've seen from Manchester United in the league for quite a few years, and I think that they're starting to settle a little bit. I think that Rangnick's getting his feet underneath him. They're sorting out. You're seeing the players come out in unison against the media narrative of, you know, the Harry Maguire news and everything like that. I do think that United will get their shit together. This is a team that finished second last season, and they did improve. Sancho's finding his form in the Premier League as well. They just can't continue to play this badly for an entire season, and they're already in the driver's seat, if you ask me. So that's who I see finishing 4th.
I mean, even with that, though, they've been dropping points week after week after week after week after week. When was the last time they've even won in the league?
They just won.
Yeah, they did. They just won, and even that they could have given away. They could have given it away. Like, I do worry about Manchester United. I do worry that they're going to come into some serious form and kind of exercise their demons. But you know what? Tottenham also have been shocking, and we've got a better team than our performances have shown. And hopefully now we can go on and win, guys. No, we've been going for 3 hours. I'm going to see if this. Tell me if this is too noisy in the background, but I want to just kind of round off by saying, is this too noisy? Is it too noisy? Is it not noisy enough?
Barely hear it.
Okay, let me turn it up a little bit. Is that better?
Yeah, we can hear it now. Yeah.
All right, guys. I just want to say thank you all to the 5 of you and to the guys that were on earlier in the first segment. To James from Spurs Related, to Dave from the Irish Hotspur, to Brian Daigle. There was nobody else, I don't believe. It's been a wonderful show. It's been eclectic. I've had 8 people on, different groups. It feels like 2 different streams, and we've gone through everything. And I'm going to shut this off now because I can't hear myself think because it's the same noise for me either way. I need to figure this out. Will, it's too noise. You got to teach me after the show, bro. Guys, we're gonna round off. We've been 3 hours. Thank you everyone in the chat for staying with us. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. But more importantly, I'm going to go around the houses and offer everyone who's still with me the chance. I'm going to get everyone's names up. So I'm going to start with Adam. I know I don't have your Instagram, so I will start with you. But then after that, we're going to go to Will and then Alex THFC, then Cody. But I'm also going to get everyone else's numbers up from the YouTube that were here earlier. Will, start with you. Where can everyone find you, buddy?
Me or him?
Oh, sorry, Adam. Adam.
I was thinking Will. Oh, okay.
Wait, Adam. Yeah.
Thanks very much for letting me promote myself, Sean. As always, it's really great to be able to. I'm on here to talk about Spurs. I love Spurs with a passion. But like the biggest thing that goes on in my life is the movies that I make. I'm a film director and I'm the CEO of Wild Stag Productions. So if you want to check out anything that I'm doing outside of Spurs, then you have to go to Wild Stag Media on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. My feature film, Follow the Dead, is currently doing the rounds in the festival circuit at the moment. So you can look up Follow the Dead as well on social media. But yeah, that's what I do be at when I'm outside of this stuff.
Thank you, mate. Thank you so much. Let me get Wild Stag Media Productions. Can I put your URL? Is that possible? Can you put that in there? I'm gonna put it in here. See what happens. WildStagProductions.com for anyone who wants to find it. Is that right? WildStagProductions.com?
WildStagProductions.com will get you there as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Everyone, make sure you go over there to Adam's website and then find his social stuff from there. If you're interested, I've checked it out. It's awesome on Instagram. Make sure you do as well. Will, I put your link in the channel, but talk about it, buddy.
Yeah, I do. Will Stewart THFC rants. Follow me on Twitter too, if you wouldn't mind. I've been getting more active on Twitter. Cody's trying to get me on there. He thinks I'm gonna set fires all over Twitter.
It's gonna be a
look,
star.
I like data. I can't help it, and so when the data has to be correct, and if it's not correct, I have to say something. And so sometimes I have spicy opinions because of that. Kane was with the best performance in Premier League history. No, it wasn't.
We like spicy opinions, Bill. That's why I invited you on, buddy. I love everything about really you, man. You're awesome. Spicy.
They're just not hyperbolic. So that gets on people's nerves, right? So.
No, I only found you. I've only been in the game for like 3 months, and I'm finding my way across YouTube. And Will, when I first discovered you, we spoke about this, Will, after the show, right? You invited me on your channel one day, and then afterwards you were like, Sean, I heard really horrible things about you, buddy. But actually, you're reasonable. And I've never heard bad things about you, but I just fell in love with your style. I think it's very cool. And you're always welcome on Spurs Talk Show, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Will Stewart THFC rants, that's for sure. So
appreciate that. Alex, before I put your name in the chat, just quickly, I just want to say the Americanka sang. I love the show. Thank you, Americanka. I love you. I don't know what your name is. Your first name is. I'm sure it's not Americanka. If it is, then I apologize for doubting that that's your first name. I don't know. But either way, there's no super chat option because we're not at the point where we can do that yet. We only have 500 subscribers, which I say only, but we've only been going for a couple of months. So we're not at your stage. Your channel, your YouTube channel, Americanka, has, I think, like 25,000 subs. So whatever you're doing, you're doing it very well. It's very cool. And if anyone hasn't, for what it's worth, check out her channel. It's very cool. Very cool channel. That's the reason there's no super chat option, but I appreciate the option. And
give her a subscribe too, because she follows all the Spurs channels. She's always in the chat for everybody.
That's what I'm saying. I've subscribed. Make sure Make sure you get over there to America. I'm going to go find it. This is what we're here to do, right? But also, Alex, I'll put your name in the channel, buddy. Talk about your channel, bro. Only 129 subscribers. This needs to be upped.
You know what? If people want to subscribe, it'd be nice. It's up to them. I'm not fast because at the end of the day, the channel's for me to get my. And I'm not. You know, it's just a little bit of fun for me as far as I'm concerned. I need to say this, Sean, you've been brilliant. I know that you
Cheers, Alex.
frustrated about but the fact is, like, you know, when you've got characters like me and David.
Wait, what was I frustrated by?
No, that's not a criticism, but I'm just saying that you've been really good, and I just want to just say that to you because
thanks, mate.
And I think
I wasn't frustrated by you and Dave going at it. Not at all.
Honestly, Sean, you've been brilliant. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, I'm
thanks,
giving
mate.
You some praise here, you know what I mean? So I just need to say that, Cody, you're a legend, mate. I love you.
Cody's awesome.
You're great. Yeah, you're an awesome guy, mate. I'm glad you came on the stream because I wanted to say that to you as well. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to say that as well, man. And keep it going, mate. Adam, I've got respect for you, mate. I've got respect for you.
I got nothing but love for you, brother.
I've got respect for you. You know what I mean? Like, you do have a good argument on you, mate. Like, you need to keep on going. You need to keep on going. Like, I've got to respect you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't take it personally. You just keep on going. And I enjoy that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, keep it going, bro.
We're good for the banter.
Adam's going to be a regular spot on the Spurs Talk Show. I haven't asked him yet, but I'm going to ask him.
You need to be, mate. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, keep it going, mate. Like, because, like, you got a good punch on you, or good crack on you. Definitely.
Bro.
Will, man, you need to stop with these statistics, mate. You know what I mean? I love you, mate. You need to stop.
Wow! Come on. You're throwing out compliments.
Looking at statistics, my friend.
Wow. Just go. You know what I mean? I love you, man. You know what I mean? The late night streams, I still watch it. I might not comment, but I still watch it, mate. Honestly, it's really good, man. And keep going, man. Keep going.
Oh, they're amazing. Well, Stuart Show's awesome. Alex, thank you so much, man. Listen, before we come to Cody, Americanka, I think I've got your show out there. You just said oops. But I put your channel out there as well, Americanka, because you're very supportive of all the channels. So I have actually just put your channel in there as well. Anybody who's still watching, make sure you get over there. You know, I don't know what like 40 people are going to do to 22,000, 23,000 subs. You don't need us, but for what it's worth, you're an amazing support mechanism for a lot of the Tottenham shows. So we love you, Americanka.
By the way, that wasn't going to David because I love David. You know what I mean? We're just competitive. We're very competitive, but Irish Hotspur. We love the Irish Hotspur. You know what I mean?
We all love each other. We all love each other.
It will be time for me to banter him another time, definitely. So yeah, I have to put that in.
The banter's always welcome on here. Cody Mack, bro, take yourself off mute. Tell us, I don't know if are you affiliated to a channel, Cody, or do you just whore yourself out and do a great job? You're like the best escort of the Tottenham community. Well, how do we find you, buddy?
Yep. I'm just a super schlag. You can find me on Twitter anytime. My handle there at ComacDo.
At ComacDo. Okay, here we go.
Bill Stewart's channel, as long as he doesn't kick me off. But you'll find me. I've been a little bit busier lately and haven't been able to be on as many channels as I was at one point when I was off work. I haven't seen you in a while. But you'll see me where you see me.
I love you, Cody. You're awesome. Cody. You are awesome. And everyone else is awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. It's time to wrap it up. Let me put that noise back on. Let me see what's going on. Let me start with this one this time. Guys, it's been a wonderful show. It's been 3 hours. I'm going to wrap it up right now. I want to thank you, everyone in the panel, everyone that was on the panel earlier, and also to everyone in the comments that stayed with us throughout the 3 hours. Much love to you all. Much success to Tottenham tomorrow evening as we try to smash Burnley and get on with the top 4 race. And we'll come back and do this again in a couple of days' time, no doubt. Thank you, everybody. We're going to end the broadcast right here. He just showed his face for a split second.
Where have you been the whole time? Come on.
Why couldn't you have done that? It's okay. It's all good. You could have come on anytime you want. You chose not to. Thanks, everybody. See you again. This is the Spurs Talk Show. Cheers.
Come on, you Spurs.
Stats rock.